everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Talk to Me About. I'm your host, Dee. It's been a while. I'm aware. I've been taking a break, been watching a little bit of Dual Rulers, Guilty Gear Strive Edition. Incredible anime. It's definitely the best 5 out of 10 anime I've ever seen in my life. Maybe 6 out of 10. I'm here with my co-host, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
How do you feel about being back?
I am happy to be chatting with people again about the wonderful world of Guilty Gear, and especially excited? I'm excited to get into talking.
How do you make that mistake verbally?
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I think I've reverted to the age of 8. Much like
oh god, it's because I've been keeping you in that cage this whole time. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been in the cage ever since the last episode. I haven't been eating. I've been playing with like mice bones.
Aww.
But I'm hanging the audience off.
Who gave you those mice bones? I didn't allow you to have any toys. Give those back.
It was just my pet mouse before, but some time had passed. I mean, there wasn't any cheese for him. I was like, well. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk about Dual Rulers. Like you said, it may not have been the greatest anime, but it was definitely a show with a lot of heart. I feel like
it was. And apt viewers or attentive viewers of this podcast may be aware, we have very familiar faces, people that have been on multiple episodes of this podcast before. In fact, we're on very recently for one such incredible main character of the anime, Leo Paldon, who was in every single episode and destroyed
That was so crazy
Nerf.
how they did that.
Yeah.
She destroyed Nerf alone. She said, don't worry about it, guys. I'll handle this. And Paldon.
But I figured they were such a good riot time, hell of a time, that I'd bring them all back. So, probably don't need extensive introductions, but I'll go through it anyways. Hello! Let's start off with Toxic. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing alright, yay.
Since the time we've had you on, you have since become a partner of something?
Oh yeah, Team Art Creators, yeah. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm sure there's gonna be something.
Yeah.
You're in the lab cooking.
You've supported the brand, is what you've done. Oh no, I'm not in there. I'm cooking shit.
Well,
I'm not doing anything.
It's okay, Toxic. We can have as many secrets as we want. We're doing, blood rituals in the back, sharing all kinds of incredible Arc System Works secrets that no one will ever know as creators.
So true. We actually choose the discourse that will be on Twitter each and every week.
We actually choose the next character to be added to the past.
And
We're just like, okay, today we're gonna complain about Blaze Blue again for the 3rd week in a row. It's all voted.
Thank you for dictating the discourse.
Maintaining the agenda is our top priority.
Next up, it's Bocchi. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been playing a lot. It's been fun. It's so cool.
You've been committing some great sins. I've been seeing you post clips of Street Fighter V online on Twitter.com, and I've been seeing multiple mutuals be like, I should re-download Street Fighter V again.
Oh my
The
goodness.
propaganda's insane.
It's so weird. I've had so many people be like, hey, do you want to play Street Fighter V? And I'm like, wow, where were all of you a few years ago? Where was the Street Fighter V then?
All it took was a couple Alex Grapple clips, and you have them right back.
Bocchi is doing master PR for Street Fighter V.
But now we'll see how good your PR abilities are now for Guilty Gear Strive, the Dual Rulers. And last but absolutely not least, it's Hope. How are you doing, Hope?
I just wanted to play the sound again. But generally, I'm doing okay. I already have 2 more commissions lined up for Unika recolors. I got a lot on my plate. But
I really like the one that you did. I think you said
it's so good.
How difficult is modeling Unika? Because she has 2 different hairs.
Oh.
She has lighting.
Okay. I'm so glad you brought up her hair specifically. She does not. She does not have 2 separate hair textures.
Wait, she doesn't?
Hold on.
Oh my god.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. Hold on. Let me pull up the textures right now. Hold on. Okay. Over here. If you look in general, those 4 squares dictate her weapons free hair.
That's
hair color.
it?
Wow.
Those 4 fucking squares. Nothing else dictates weapon free textures.
I love so
Oh my
much whenever you
God.
see the ArcSys like texture maps out, and it's like this is the entire section where we have the patches with metal references, and then here's just the entire thing for skin.
It's yeah, no, because like Arx's like textures do have like a pattern, and I gotta commend them for that because it makes my job easier. But like 4 squares, and they're not even colored correctly. Like,
Is it like? I guess it's also like highlights and glow. That's interesting.
kind of, but it's the same kind of thing. Sorry, this is a very long-winded introduction for something that
this
does
is
not
fine.
introduce me. But like, the 4 squares have the same issue that Testament's Nostrovia does, in the sense that like they are way brighter than they have any right to be.
But yes, now we can finally get to talking about the main event, the dual rulers. Did you guys totally enjoy the spoiler when Unika rips the Thunder Seal out and said, "I'm a Kiske," and then Kiske all over the place? That was my favorite part.
I'm a big fan of when she said, "Time to be one of the dual rulers with Sin Kiske."
It's
I
Unica in
popped off.
time.
You ready, duel? You said it, rulers.
First we duel, then we rulers. Let's duel rulers.
From the start, we knew it was going to be 8 episodes. Supposedly, there might be 2 more. I don't know if those are Blu-ray special things or if
Yeah,
they're
I'm
recaps.
thinking
Okay,
they're
so-
Blu-ray.
So what I think happened is that there was like it's the magazine thing where they listed 10 episodes. I'm 90% sure that was just like a printing error and they didn't give a shit because they don't have like names. They don't have like names for the episodes. They're just like it just says like episode 9, episode 10. I'm 90% sure that it's just like a fuck up of whoever made that.
Oh, we're not gonna
Also in the
we're not gonna have
as
Dual
well.
Rulers episode 9 Gaiden.
Yeah, laugh all you want until the next 2 episodes come out and we get the beach episode and the baseball episode that
We
are
already got the
requisite
beach
for every
episode.
anime.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you know, true.
I think
That
You know
actually
what it might
was,
be?
that was
You
one
know
of the
what it
better
might
ones too.
It might be. You remember when Dragon Ball Super was airing?
No.
So that anime infamously had really bad art. So what they could be doing is that they could be like remaking the episodes and then sort of restitching them into 2 extra. That could be fun.
Oh.
Dual Rulers
Yeah,
is
the
such
Director's
an
cut with
Yeah.
Leopolden.
Dual Rulers is such an interesting case when it comes to art style because it's very clear they were working with very limited budget. So every episode got 4 or 5 max of Sakuga moments, I'd say, of like 10 seconds of, whoa, this is hyper animated, let's go nuts, let's go crazy. And then the rest of it being characters standing completely still or still shots where they over-edit. It's clear they were trying their best. Like, the still shots, I think, were my favorite part of the anime, where it's like, oh, it's just nice 2D art, very similar to, like, the
Yeah.
old XX art. That was, like, every time they did it, I was like, oh, this is really pretty, let's stick on this. It reminds me of Berserk, the 97 interpretation.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I'm pulling up the Order Soul art because I love that one a lot. With Axel, yeah, here we go.
I had something I wanted to say, but I remember. It's crazy how much Dual Rulers was just kind of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like insane.
Oh.
damn, you know what?
I
Order Soul
was-
does look great there.
Yeah.
You could fully
Ooh,
convince me
my
this was
God.
arcade art of XX era, and I'd fully believe it.
You could convince me that this was like a strategy guide cover. This feels very
Yeah.
like you open it up and then like over Axel and Order Soul. Guilty Gear Xrd or XX, and it's just like ultimate strategy guide, and there it is.
How did you guys feel about
Soul
the...
Rad Guy's been stitching together a lot of these.
Oh,
Like
Right.
they're really.
he's doing
like,
God's
like,
work. That is so fucking
Yeah.
cool. That is an album cover right there.
Absolutely.
Let me post the other two.
I wonder if they're
going
gonna
to
sell these as posters in the ARC shop. Little
I hope
Tokyo
Oh my
Records.
god, I never
They
noticed
probably will
Justice up
not.
there. Oh my god.
Yeah, here's the Freddie Mercury pose for Soul in
Yeah.
episode 2.
Oh
Big fan
man,
of
I
that
miss
one.
Sin's old hair.
I want a poster of specifically this next one.
When this
Yeah.
Soul screenshot dropped in episode 2, it's... maybe I'll save that for when we go through recaps, but I think this was the moment everyone realized, oh, this anime is gonna be something incredible. Like, that shot right there, it's like, guys, we're safe, it's okay.
Yeah.
If only we knew how not okay we would be later on, but...
It was alright.
It was alright,
Yeah,
you know,
I
yeah.
think all things considered, it could have been much worse.
I love this Asuka, all the villains.
I love
Yeah,
the
this is
Mount
episode
Rushmore of villains.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. And Nagoriyuki.
It makes me
Naga.
mourn the fact that we could have had like an old 2000s OVA style, like traditionally animated, maybe with some Digipaint style Guilty Gear anime. But I guess we do have to settle with the
Didn't
Sandskin
they
art
say
style.
some aspects? Sorry to cut you off, but
No,
didn't
it's
they
fine.
say like some aspects of it were like partially animated in Blender at some
It was
point?
entirely
The entire
animated.
anime
Yeah.
animated in Blender, and they said it's the first for the industry. Kind of insane, considering like. Mhm.
I use Blender for 30 minutes at a time and give up. I don't know how they did it, quite frankly.
It's very
like-
impressive.
In some way,
They
I
were
think
on
it's
Twitter
like.
like, hey, does anyone from other studios like want to learn how to transition all their tools to fucking Blender? Like, just apparently they hate the like Maya and all that shit.
I don't know if it's what intended, but it feels like a kind of callback to the Guilty Gear fan animator community, because more than any other fighting game, we have the most people that want to
Yeah,
animate
that's
these
true.
characters and love the hell out of these characters. Like,
That's
there are
true.
like there's discords of people that make. I'm sure you guys saw like, oh, the Bridget animation of her on the skateboard. Oh, the little like Ipauga, everything he does.
I was gonna say, shoutouts to Maya, shoutouts to Pauga, shoutouts to God, who was
It's the guy with the
who's
U,
our-
and I literally commissioned him. I feel so.
is it Uzalek?
Uzalek, thank you. Uzalek
Right,
Red.
yes, I was saying
Yeah.
Uzalek rules. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like so many
On
great
topic
people.
of Ipauga, I did like a while back. I got their permission to use one of the renders for a mod,
Ooh.
and that mod replaces the just I posted it in general. There's
Oh,
the
this
image,
is
but, like, it
so
replaces
sick.
the
I
back
love
in,
this.
for the
Oh,
main
this looks
screen, like,
nice.
every time I use it, I'm like, oh, it's so good.
You're referencing my favorite Exerd soul art ever. I have it as my phone lock screen right now, that soul art. I love it.
My lock screen is my husband. and
I was
nothing.
gonna say,
Aw.
do you like that soul art because it looks like he has especially kissable lips?
I love his especially kissable lips. You know who has even more kissable lips? Axel Lowe, who they randomly
saying
dropped into
this.
this anime.
But maybe we could talk about that a little bit. Just the characters, and I know you have a very passionate opinion about this, Dee, but the characters who pretty much randomly appeared in the anime, like Axel.
Before the anime dropped, the directors of the anime itself at Sanzigen had a little interview. They were doing a small marketing campaign, and they said, we were especially proud to get characters that we at the studio loved the most, such as Johnny and Biken. And I want to find that guy and hit him on the head with a mallet, because I think that was one of my biggest problems with the anime. The fact that Johnny and Biken just kept randomly showing up when they had no reason to be.
I'll say I think Biken was a little out of place for as much as I really love Biken and her character and her thematic, but I think Johnny really does kind of have a place there if this is supposed to be like the story of the extended Kiske family. Like that's Dizzy's
Yeah,
surrogate
Johnny's
dad,
kinda-
basically.
He's
No,
kind of
Johnny
proud.
like did a good amount of stuff. Like he was talking to Sin about like after like he like healed him up like after the Unika fight. But like I don't think what did Biken do again?
Biken breasted boobily.
Moments in
That's
Quite
true.
literally.
She fought. Moments in aura, it's true.
I feel so bad for the Twitter user that was defending with her life that, guys, Biken is not a sex symbol. She just happens to have large breasts and she's really cool. And then the director of Sanzigen making this anime was like, but what if this samurai had really big boobs and she moved around and they jiggled and she pulled stuff out?
It's frustrating because it is,
turns the immediate breasts. What then?
it is definitely like an actual complex discussion to be had about like the sexualization of characters versus like representation of just how people's bodies look and like how that can be an empowering thing and then also an objectifying thing. But undeniably, I don't know if the
I don't know if
animators
Biken's like
There is definitely like
approaching Biken with the level of nuance that I would have preferred personally.
While we're still on, I guess, a tiny bit of a negativity kick, I also just want to say, what was Ramlethal doing in this anime?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
Trying to
happened to
beam like
Ramlethal?
twice, right?
He was guarding the ice wall.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Okay,
I-
Garbage
was
the
there
fuck
watching
out of it.
puppy videos
I
on
couldn't
phone.
really
I was
tell.
watching YouTube while eating lunch.
She's there eating animal crackers while the plot happens everywhere else. And then, like, what,
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
It's like,
7?
oh shit, I need to shoot my big laser.
She's
shot it
she's
twice, didn't she? Or was
She
it
did
just
shoot it.
once
She
and
did
then
shoot
they
the laser.
flashed back again?
And you know
To
what?
her
Dizzy
credit.
did say we couldn't have done this without the laser that Ramlethal and Elfelt shot. So
And you know,
It's like the producers
to
of the
some
anime
extent, it
looking
is
at
kind
you
of
and
true,
you were
though.
like, no.
Ramlethal
We needed
helped.
her. See, guys, it was important that Ramlethal and Elfelt were here because they got to get exploded and shoot lasers.
It's really
But
funny
we
that
have
like
a slideshow install.
they have like the 2 times that it's like Ramlethal and Elfelt, and like Ram shouts Calvados, which is the name of the move in the video game, and Elfelt just shouts love, which is not a move of
I
any.
know, I love that
It
so
is-
much.
Love is a move though for Faust's like head.
It's for
throwy,
Faust,
toppy
not
thing.
for Elfelt.
Yeah.
toxic. Why was she shooting
Well,
love when she could have been shooting from the
She should have
guilty?
been a Jungle de Parfol.
She could have been shooting from the GG
Yeah.
World Entry Womanhood. She could have been shooting her beam of
Oh.
womanhood out there.
True.
true.
Elfelt's just a little stupid, so she thought that they both were saying things that they liked when they were shooting the beam.
Ice cream.
And she's like, oh, I like love.
I mean, it could have just got her fired up, I suppose? Question mark. But
Mhm.
like, alas.
I think that's a pretty good, like, shonen battle cry, just shouting love.
Oh, for sure.
I think they said they started development of the anime the start of season 2, so probably right after Bridget released, and they saw the huge influx of sales, and they were like, we have so much money now, we can do whatever we want. to
I
me,
was
it feels
talking-
like first episode, the goals of this anime were set very clear, and it was, 1, we have to make Bridget plot relevant. What were we thinking for the past 25 years? Oh my god. And 2, let's introduce Unika and make her and this new character and make her important. And in both of those 2 goals, I'd say they kind of got there, kind of.
Mhm.
So
See, I think
Right.
it's incredibly funny that I forget who made the tweet, but within the files for Guilty Gear, Bridget got, I think, along the lines of like 39 voice
new
lines.
lines
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
to
Unika.
Unika, and
Yeah.
I think that is the funniest shit to me. Like, girl,
my other
Girl,
favorite
I
thing
get it.
Unika got 11 lines for that.
is that the Guilty Gear producers, they said for balancing purposes, they read Twitter, and every time you complain about Zato, they nerf him a little bit more. I
True.
really
It's what he deserves.
I gotta give kudos
had-
where kudos have to be given, in that they saw Maybury as a ship and saw, oh, lesbians love our work. Let's make a lesbian for Bridget, and created Unika. You know what? Good job. I think, asked answered, I guess.
One of
God
these
bless.
days, Maybury heads, your time will come. But yeah, I really have to say, I was talking with
I-
Dee about this while the anime was airing, but I think easily one of the strongest parts of it was how well they incorporated Bridget. At first, I was like,
yeah.
oh, why Bridget the
I
bus
thought she
driver
was
all of a
just gonna-
sudden?
I thought she was just gonna do like nothing and be there for like 2 episodes, and then like, oh
Right.
wait, no, she actually is like plot important. This is like
Yeah.
really important.
I had the same
Like,
reaction.
Yeah.
Speaking as a trans woman, I think the like scene where she's talking about like her shape and whatnot, I was just like borderline tears in my eyes. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Bridget."
yeah. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
it says
no.
something that after 3 episodes, I think everyone was like, okay, you know what, the anime is good, we're safe. And then episode 4 or 5 came around, and it was the same episode where Unika and Bridget have their scene. It was also the most nothing episode outside of that. Like, they ran out of budget, and they're like, oh god, this is a recap episode. Just save everything for the Bridget scene. Like, that was kind of funny
Pardon,
to me.
wait, could you remind me the plots of 4 and 5? My memory is like shot right now.
It's Leo and Vernon, and they're just talking war plans, and like, oh, Unika's
Right,
looking to be a
right,
pretty
yeah,
big threat.
Yeah.
Unika,
Like-
we'll call her Agent U. Why are you giving her a nickname when we know
You
who
know
the
her
character
name.
is?
Wait a minute, why the I
I've
just remembered that Erica was in the show and there was like no advertising about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was just kind of there.
just so happened to be.
I don't even think they tweeted her about her.
No.
Mhm.
I'm just very glad they had Manaka Iwami in the fucking studio being transgender as fuck. Love her for that.
Mhm.
What's the fucking tweet where it's like, one day we will have an anime where a character looks directly in the camera and says, I am transgender.
Like
They
3
funded-
separate
Perfect
times.
English.
They funded
finally
a
got it.
full anime to have a character say, I am transgender and this is my wife. So,
You know what? A women. A
If-
women.
If nothing else, absolutely, this is like an enormous dub. I think I was literally telling D that.
Yeah,
Like,
no-
that was my reaction to that episode is, this is actually masterfully written. I really appreciate them finding such an organic way to weave Bridget into the plot and also kind of make that perfectly relevant with Unika's character development. I was, like, immediately on board, and then a little bit of that goodwill was lost with the subsequent episode.
Yeah.
It did not exactly stick the landing, but for that episode, the most important thing was done, which was writing Bridget very.
I think I
Sure.
wrote about it on Twitter, but do you know, like, how monumental it is to have an airing anime and have a character say, I am trans, and also at the same time, this is my girlfriend? And, like, and it's a romantic scene, and the trans character shows her
TV.
naked body on cable TV? That's, like,
On-
we are
on
past,
Arthur's
like,
getting
woke
vulgar
Daisuke.
by the
He's
ear.
fucking awake.
Mhm.
He is on, like,
I-
energy drinks.
Daisuke's
Genuinely, like when that fucking like Bridget beach scene came up, I was a little flabbergasted for a second, for lack of a better term. I was just not expecting that kind of like, oh, like they actually did that kind of thing.
I
like-
was literally. Oh, sorry.
I am no, you're good. I was gonna say, like, I am all for acknowledging transgender bodies because, you know, go figure. But like,
I feel like they were really
It's a matter
sweet about
of,
it
like-
too, where it's just like, oh,
they
this
were, yeah. It
it-
wasn't like any kind of like fan servicey outcome, more so than it was just kind of like tasteful nudity. I think
Yeah,
think
yeah.
in a way that it's just kind of.
it
like,
had
it's
a very like worshipping kind of quality to it, because Bridget's literally glowing in that scene. Like she's it's romantic in a sense. Like I could
I
not
have
believe this
the-
was a
I
scene
have
I was
the image.
watching. It's kind of incredible.
I have the image on hand for no reason in particular. I just think she's very cute. I also fucked around with filters for the image, and I think this one's really cute. I like.
Oh,
how
I really
filters-
like that one.
Yeah.
This
She's
is
so
nice.
pretty.
Yeah.
I love the weight to her hair. They did such a good job with the little stills in the
Yeah,
show.
I'm like actually obsessed with like every second Bridget scene in the show. Like,
Mhm.
it's like there's just like Soul and Sin being like, I'm glad to see I'm not still the sole bad guy, and then just shooting Unika, and then like, and Bridget shows up.
I was gonna say
that is pretty much the progression of every episode. You
episode
boil the
4
rulers down to
True.
its bare essentials.
episode 4 came out, and I was like, oh my god, they made Bridget plot relevant. She's incredible. She did a great job with Unika. She's tied to the new main character, Unika. This is incredible. I'm so happy. Why did they then decide that they couldn't figure out what to do with Bridget? So they're like, oh, she gets mogged by a jobber, and then that's it. Like, and we don't see her. Why did they
This
decide
is like
to
the
do that?
funniest
You know how
fucking
sad I
scene
was?
ever. Like, okay, the day before that episode aired, there was some thread from someone on Twitter being like, stop saying that Bridget is the least powerful canonical character. Like she has a lot of good feats. She fought Kai, and then it's just like no. And the episode comes out, it's like no.
Aw.
It's completely fucking
They-
wrong. Okay, to be fair, the Nerval thing was very strong though.
Mhm.
But I do
But
get
it's-
it. It is very
Okay,
funny.
but in the same episode, you have like fucking Johnny and Sin and all of them like fucking
Yeah.
coming through like
Yeah, they,
20
like,
million of
sneeze.
them at once.
They
It's
kill
just
500
one.
Nerval clones.
I killed 500 dermal clones for breakfast this morning.
You
that
brought-
should
Unika
start
was
being
so
like the
one.
unit for Guilty Gear power scaling is how many Nervals
how
strong
many
is your
Nervals
character.
can they kill?
You brought it up, and now might be a good time to investigate it a little bit. Bocchi, I know you like Nerval a lot, don't you? Or do you hate him?
Yeah, let's talk
So
about Nerval
much.
Hammer.
Nerval Hammer, the new main
Senator
villain.
Nerval Hammer.
I was so excited for Nerval, and then like up to episode 5, I was loving it. Like through episode 5, I was like, this is fucking awesome what they're doing with him. I'm like
Yeah.
on board. And then the show kept going.
So
Yeah,
literally so many things were exactly like that. It's so true.
The show kept
I'm
going.
So true.
It's not that the show kept going, it's that they kept going and they cut out like every fucking like cool scene
Yeah.
imaginable to get it to fit in 8 episodes. Like I felt like I got like the fucking the
Cliff notes.
spark notes of like
Yeah, yeah,
an
yeah.
episode and not the
Right.
actual episode.
Oh,
Especially
I-
when only a quarter of it gets animated, actually, and the rest of it is just still.
That's true. They used up all the budget on Nerval.
Who could blame him? A common
Nerval
double.
I get it.
Okay, I don't know how true it is, but like I heard that like Nerval swaps between like 2D animated in like first 2 episodes he's in, and then like in episode 5 he's like got a 3D model, and then he's
Yeah.
back to 2D, and
Yeah.
then he's back to 3D. It's like, oh wow.
Believe that.
No, it was very obvious. I remember watching the first episode with D live, and then like you have Kai and Dizzy, and it's a beautiful Kai Dizzy moment. Kai Dizzy W, by the way. And then like Nerval shows up immediately. It's like, oh, that guy's 2D animated. Like here's
He looks
Dick
like a One
Dastardly
Piece
looking
character in
motherfucker.
episode 1.
No,
He
guys,
does.
what's the one thing with Zoro? A cardboard cutout of Zoro?
Yeah, it's Luffy, Nami, Usopp, cardboard cutout of Zoro, Sanji. That was Nerval episode 1, but I also cannot get over the fact that he just fucking looks like Dick Dastardly. Like they could not have made a more noticeably evil-looking guy.
Yeah, they should have gone for I Am Mean instead.
I would have loved that.
Oh.
He's trying to destroy Illyria because they all read books.
Jay, I couldn't help but notice that you said Kai Dizzy W for this series. Jay, is the Kai Dizzy W in the room with us? Like,
Yeah, they had a lot of very nice love moments. The
It's on
flashbacks were
screen.
really cute.
Jay, they were on screen for maybe 3 minutes, and then they
They
got
were.
shafted
They were.
for the
But-
entire
but-
anime.
But those 3 minutes were really good.
Uh-huh.
Counterpoint though,
It's
I will
true.
say, I still think it's so funny that like, I'm like 95% sure April was technically on screen longer than May, and I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
little bit funny.
Wait, oh my, wait. You might be
Like,
right.
there was the like panoramic shot of like at the end where they're showing everyone at the wedding, which I'm still sad Bridget wasn't at.
Why
but,
is
like,
Daryl the bus driver all of a sudden?
no, like I do
Where was
like
Daryl this entire
Daryl could have showed up
fucking
He
time?
showed up at the wedding. That's
Yeah,
also
I
a
know-
cardboard cutout.
Daryl,
you know
this
what?
is-
Go on.
you're like higher up, like
Mhm.
you work as the president of the like for the president of the United States, and the vice president gets fucking like sealed in a fucking like giant crystal, and then you don't show up to work for like a week.
He legit was like,
My
"Not my
favorite
problem."
thing,
I'm not fucking doing
even
that.
besides the fact that he's literally the politics, governor, president, king. Out of all of them, he's the one
Yeah.
that gives the shit the most about the country's well-being compared to Leo, who is constantly just overwhelmed in paperwork, and Kai, who is constantly breaking rules. Like, Daryl should have been there. My favorite thing, though, is that he did not go to the fancy wedding, but he did go to the backyard wedding in the broken castle and everything.
Where
I
was
didn't
he?
think about that. That's so funny.
Fucking the
His
image. What
broke
did
ass.
he even do?
True.
But like, I think it's so incredibly funny that like, he could have shown up earlier, but they just
He really
didn't.
could have.
No.
He didn't even need to say
There were
anything
so
just to
many,
like
like,
establish that
plot
he's there.
opportunities, I feel for like Daryl to show up, but like, nah. Bro's just taking a really long nap, I suppose. Like, I get it.
I feel the
Just
same
wanna
thing
be in
about
bed.
Giovanna and Gold Lewis, where it's like, where the fuck were they?
I'm
Yeah.
so glad
Well,
you're
no,
saying
Gold Lewis
that.
shows up for like a little bit.
No, he doesn't.
Like
He doesn't?
No.
no.
Really?
So-
Oh, what? Am I like hallucinating a scene where
Yes,
he like
you are.
talk?
Genuinely, I did the stuff on the wiki where like I wrote what characters were in each episode. I like kept a list as I was watching the episodes. Like Gold Lewis and Giovanna never fucking appear for a single frame.
Oh, my bad.
I cannot-
They're
It's so
not
weird.
there. They are not there.
It's
They were
driving
on
me
vacation.
insane too because Unika dropped in Strive and she's displaying a very, very close relationship to Giovanna, who's like her new mentor. Like this is her sole bad guy that's teaching her the ropes of the US government as like a secret agent. And Giovanna, that would have been like really cool for Gio because Gio has nothing going on. And they just didn't put it in the anime because I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, here's my take. I think you could swap Erica's like role with Giovanna, and like that would work.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I don't. Maybe they couldn't get her the voice
Wait.
actor. I don't fucking know. But like, it's so weird that they did not advertise Erica like at all. Like I feel like you would. They gave a fucking what was it? They gave like Twitter posts for like fucking like Vernon and
Yeah.
who else? Like it's like what Erica's
Vernon,
a character.
Leo.
For Vernon, I can understand a bit because I know in
for, like,
English
Leo
he
and-
actually has like a celebrity voice actor, like an actual football player or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like for like Leo like and stuff, like they're in the episodes, but like I mean Erica was there for like at least like 4 episodes. Like that's pretty big. I think that's more than like Kai.
If I can,
I still feel bad.
if I can gripe about this for a tiny bit,
Yeah, go
I
for it.
understand that Leo's role in Exert and Strive is to be the kind of everyman that people bounce off of. He's supposed to be like the kind of realistic perspective, the one that's putting things into stakes and can have things explained to him so that the plot can move forward. And I think he does a really good job of that in Exert and pretty okay of job of that in Strive. Why did they make him the Zoom call guy on this? Like, every single
He's really
scene.
close to the camera.
I have something to say about this as well.
Yeah.
I am a huge Leo White fan. I love Leo White fan. I am so tired of him just being like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they
please,
spend so
just
much of Strive
let him
saying like,
escape.
oh, he's a genius actually, like he's really good with surveillance, he's really good at caring about his people, like he's deeply attached to his soldiers, and he runs a really tight, well-oiled ship. It's just when he's around other people, he flounders a bit, and like with magic, he flounders. Like, I thought that was a good balance of that, but it seems like they're really pushing him more and more into just, we don't care about Leo, he's the guy that's gonna explain the plot back because we don't want to animate anything, and that's so disappointing for such a cool
Exactly.
character.
Leo's plot
It's so
progression
lame.
throughout
I'm so
Leo's-
mad about it.
Yeah.
Leo's plot progression throughout the show is that he learns to get further and further away from the Zoom camera.
Eventually,
wait,
the last
this is
episode, he
This
understands.
is a good exploration of his character.
Yeah, and then in the
He's
final
integrating
episode-
society a lot more.
And then in the final episode, he goes to the wedding, so he's like not even at the computer anymore. Like that's the conclusion of the character.
Guys,
You
just
think-
like COVID.
You think episodes 9 and 10 would have had Leo figuring out how to use virtual backgrounds or no?
Oh my god.
Virtual
That
mission.
means filters.
Yeah, with the fucking lawyer that like turned himself into a cat.
I was gonna say like the one guy who turned himself into a potato.
But also
my
going
God.
back to
Yeah.
going back to Erica for a 2nd, or sorry, Erica and like Giovanna. Erica was the one who called Unika Agent U initially, correct?
I
Yeah.
believe
I
so.
think
Yeah.
so,
I
yeah.
think
Would
so.
Giovanna wouldn't have done that. All I'm saying.
Hey, it's Unika, we should kill her. Oh, Giovanna, are you?
You want the-
Really? Just
Yeah.
get her, kill her, I don't care.
I mean,
You wanna know my
he's
theory
shot-
about Giovanna for this?
What?
Mm.
My theory about Giovanna is that now that Unica is actually out and in Strive, I feel like if Duros ever gets like a sequel, Giovanna is going to be a bigger by just being Unica's like partner, just her friend that she can bounce off. That's my theory because of her
100%.
arcade mode. I bet she was
Yeah.
supposed to have a bigger impact, but only after it ended.
Yeah. I could
Should
see
we
that.
talk
100%
about
the case.
like the arcade mode at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like what was it? Not Kintaro. Who's the director of Strive?
Akira Kitano, I believe.
Katana, right. Katana was on record as saying that the Strive team and the anime team were working one-on-one with each other, that it wasn't really split development. They knew what was going on in the anime, and the anime knew what was going on in the game, that there wouldn't be a disconnect, and that what they wanted to do was that Strive would show one side of Unika, and you would like her so much that you would go watch the anime, and that would be a different side of Unika, and vice versa, where it's like, oh, you see this side of her in the anime, and you want to go play the game. I think they failed at that tremendously.
I don't believe that.
You don't
I
believe
just
it?
don't
I
believe.
just
I
don't-
just
Yeah.
don't believe that from the product I saw. I don't believe that they were like we're on the same page.
No, not a.
Yeah.
But guys, they were on the same page because look, Sin and Unika did the same joke they did on the last episode of the anime of them being weird about their ages. So clearly they were in the same room. Hooray!
Okay. Okay,
Yay.
here's my very like tiny complaint that like no one else would possibly give a shit about the arcade mode. Okay, so like the stages in Strive never get like lore like explanations like they did in Xrd, and so like when I'm doing the pages, I have to like keep putting like not stated on the fucking like things for like the region or whatever, and it's like kind of annoying. And then the arcade mode for Unica is like, oh, we're going to like the new country like Vitalia. Or
Yeah,
whatever
and
the
they're
fuck it
like
is. I
in
forgot
the
name.
jungle that
Yeah.
Leo stages.
Yeah, but it's specifically that Giovanna gives up and says, this is basically close enough. You go do the rest of it, and then Sin just shows up in the jungle. So they didn't go to Valencia at all. and it's not that they can't put the DLC stages in the arcade mode because they've done that with Asuka and Ava. So they just chose to have it be in the jungle and not the new stages.
I just
They
Maybe
just
they
like
didn't
it.
have it done by the time it was ready. I mean,
Maybe.
it has to be
Yeah,
something
but
like
isn't
that.
it just loading like isn't it just loading like the area? I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
assume, but like I'm not sure. That's just my theory.
Wait, sorry, what
Maybe.
was the thing being addressed
Yeah,
regarding
Hope,
loading?
you do modding and stuff, right? How is it that the
Yeah, hi.
game is loaded? Is it, or I guess, cutscenes? Is it like they just load the stage in and then the characters go in? Is it hard to load a stage for a certain thing?
I mean, I can only infer so much because I don't handle the like loading aspects
Mhm.
of things. I only handle the cosmetics, but like to some degree, my like because I'm Oomfies with Rin and we discussed.
Shout out to Rin.
Yeah, true. Shout out to Rin.
Mhm.
If you're watching this, hi Rin. But I'm pretty sure it is just a case of like classic loading screen in the sense that it's like, you know, just loading all the assets. But given that some stages have far more background assets than others, which like I did talk about at one point on my Twitter prior to Unika and the stages were being released. Because like I mentioned I'm so tired of looking at Council of Three.
Yeah.
But like there's that's also just because it doesn't have that much to it. Like there are some instances where some assets are like PNGs, but like modeled in a way that it's like, you know, like 2.5D.
Yeah, where
but,
it's like curved around. I know the Spire rocks for Zatsu.
Yeah, in the same way that like something akin to like Pokemon Black and White handled it. But I'm gonna open some of the stage files just so I have like a frame of reference to talk about because I know Lap of the Kami. Oh my god, that shit is asset central.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say Lap of the Kami and Illyria Castle. I think are two of the nightmare
Those
stages.
are, like-
where...
Those are two of like my favorite stages. I love playing on those, but dear lord, I have fought so many people with lag on those stages. Shout out to that one, I think like 400 ping bike, and I fought like several like a year ago. But
I exclusively play on Heaven's Edge and the new one.
oh my god, it's so pretty.
So
it's so
good.
pretty. It's so
It's so
pretty. I
good.
cannot get over that stage. Like it's low-key kind of giving Granblue in the best way possible.
I
Like
was
that's just
gonna-
what it reminded me of.
I was gonna say the same thing. It does look a lot like Granblue, which is
Yeah, it's-
coincidence because they just Granblue got a huge update as well.
I have so many words for Galleon, and I'm not in like not in that way. Just for clarity,
All right.
in the sense that it's like nuanced discussion because people are like, oh, if you like Galleon, I don't trust how you feel about women or whatever. I'm like, no, I feel like there is more to discuss than just like the blatant like kind of pseudo objectification of this one Granblue character I know nothing about. But like, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I feel like. I don't think this is particularly, like, a take or anything, but, like, I feel some people definitely need to, like, open their minds to nuance a bit more.
With
'Cause
sexualization.
it's like, you could talk about, like, oh, you know, for instance, like, this is very blatantly sexualized, but also, like, it could just be, like, how do I phrase this?
Yeah,
I put
it
out a
falls
tweet
into the
about
right-wing
this earlier,
argument
but,
too of like, oh well, this isn't actually horny, this is safe horny also, and then this is this
yeah,
and
it's
that,
like,
and it's like sexualization. First of all, it's good when it works to the agency of a character, but it's also good sometimes when it doesn't work to the agency of a character, and it's just like a fun design element as well. But also, if you overbear it on one angle, and it's like, oh, just every girl in this game is a boobs and ass thighs, a disturbingly sexual thing on screen, that it kind of makes it obvious that like your views of real life women,
yeah,
that, like,
it's
there's
like,
nuance to things.
Yeah, I feel like there is, like, more to talk about than just this chick has her tits out, but, like, I don't know. There's just some things that some people just cannot understand, I fear. Anyway.
But jumping back a while back now, the
Yeah, no, for
differences in
sure.
Anime Unika and Strive Unika. Anime Unika was kind of a angry racist for a couple episodes, and then she turned into being this very quiet character. And then she was gay.
Too much. It was too much of a jump, in my opinion.
And then,
Like, yeah.
right at the end, she became exactly like Sin, where the entire anime, Sin falls down and shouts, Unika! Then Unika then becomes Shin!
Mhm.
So, that was Unika!
I could like understand like at least up to like episode 5 of like, okay, she's quiet, but like also her father that she believed like raised
Yeah.
her entire life is like actually like like super mega Satan or whatever. like I would be probably like trauma shocked too, but then it's just like why are, you should be a bitch. Like why are you
She should
nice?
be a bitch. My thing is, the Strive team saw the anime, right? And they saw this character, and they're like, okay, a sister of Sin. She lost her foster father, who was abusive to her. She's not yet quite ready yet to see her family again. She's trying to find out what her purpose in life is. Okay, she's gonna become a biker. All right, bikers are really cool. She's doing like the Akira slide. This is great. That's a cool idea. No one's really done that before. Like Soul kind of has that, but sure, we can do that new. It's a new character. She's kind of, she doesn't talk ever. Like she's nice.
Yeah, I think
I went through and like got like all the lines or like a good amount of the lines like to like the intros just put on the wiki and like the outro, and the whole time I'm sitting there like, why are you boring?
yeah.
I kept going through them, and I'm just like, I kept going through them, and it's like these aren't jokes or anything. These aren't really that funny. These aren't like interesting at all. I'm not learning new information about fucking Unika. It's just like, oh wow, so that's what a leader of a kingdom is.
Kai
It's
will go up on screen and be like, believe in the hearts of people, and then Unika will say, the hearts of people.
So, yeah.
I must try my best to fight for, and it's like, what are we
do
doing here?
It's interesting. It's interesting and it's kind of sad because I think, like many other issues that we have with the show, it's definitely a byproduct of the fact that they tried to cram a Guilty Gear plot into an 8-episode anime, because typically, I think Unika has like the quintessential Guilty Gear character sort of thematic progression that you see in so many other big characters in Guilty Gear. You know, I feel like she has a very similar story. Ramlethal to Elfelt to Sin to Kai to
Every single
fucking...
character is they were born innocent, then something in themselves that they could not control caused them to be irregular to others and ostracized. They faced reprehensible actions because they were different from other people. They fall into their own guilt and take that out on others. They are reprimanded once they realize, oh, I'm human too, and everyone else is kind of like me. They become good, and then they decide to fight for what they believe in by being themselves and inspiring others. That is every single Guilty Gear character, and every character provides a different angle on that exact arc. But that doesn't mean, like, it's boring or anything. I think Unika's, perception of that is kind of boring, though, because she doesn't iterate on this in any way or, do this in an interesting manner.
If I may, I feel like, so Unika does go through all of this, and it's interesting to see, but the problem is that she went through this entire arc that most of these characters have been going through for, over a decade, and she went through it in 8 episodes.
Exactly.
I can't get attached to this. I don't care.
I'd say counterpoint though, because you can do quick character arcs and have them be interesting. Because Ramlethal's arc in retrospect happens super quickly. She's cast as a villain,
for sure.
and then she spends the rest of that game very quiet and being approached by other people. And then, okay, I'm not a war criminal anymore. Now I will start to believe in myself. And especially for the writer of this did Night of Knives, they did the Chip novel. They know how to take small chunks of a story and expand these characters to be really, really interesting, mature outlooks on this theme. It's just, for some reason, for Unika, it's just, I don't know if it's because it was animated, like you were said, that they just decided to rush through everything, or they just didn't care to do this. I have no idea what happened. It doesn't feel like the same writer at all to me.
Okay, you bringing up Ramlethal and how quickly, she kind of went through that, in the story mode, that brought me up, Nerval, kind of, I don't really fucking okay, I like Nerval, as a concept, and I'm so sorry, Bocchi, that I'm gonna diss your goat.
No, it's fine. You can.
Nerval is, such a, a cool idea for a villain, and I was really interested in how they would, to play him, because, he's a fucking mustache, he's an evil mustache-twirling senator from Arkansas, that's funny as shit.
I think the
this
fact
is a cool
that,
guy.
yeah, episode 5, turned that all around, where he went from mustachioed evil villain to, hey, I'm actually feeling deeply angry towards the state for my research, and this is something that they spent an entire 24 minutes specifically of Nerval narrating to the camera of who he is and what he's doing, and that's really cool. That is exactly what I want from Guilty Gear. And then that all went away.
I have several problems with Nerval. One, just this is why does the fact that he is a senator not used at
Yeah.
all?
They
Mhm.
dropped
this-
the politics of this completely.
Okay,
mhm.
I have a screenshot from I think it was like episode 4. I was like, okay, is
Yeah.
Nerval gonna like do something where like he goes up to Congress, is like, here's my new bill on why we should blow up all the gears, but I will be
Right.
civil
Mhm.
about this. Sin, you come up to the stand and give a testimony about why we shouldn't blow up all the gears, and he's like bad at articulating himself.
There is
and he,
zero
like,
reason for
fumbles and
Nerval
whatever.
to be
Yeah.
a U.S. senator,
He could be any rich guy on the planet, and like that, like it's, I don't get it. But also,
Right.
I think Nerval being Unika's father is just not a role that he is actually capable of fulfilling, because like Sin is like Kai's father, but he was raised. Sin is Kai's son, but he
Yeah.
was raised primarily by Soul, and so Sin has so many traits of Soul that are just like embedded in him. Like he has the fights with the fucking stick because
Oh my
Soul,
god, you have a
Soul
point.
did
Unika
all
has
that.
none of Nerval.
Yeah, like I was thinking about this, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I was like, man, I really wish if Unika had like a single like trait or characteristic from Nerval to like
Oh
show
my
that this was
God.
not just a throwaway character. And no, he's not even mentioned in fucking Strive at all. No one even says his name. Like,
You know what's crazy?
what-
Why isn't Unika someone that like takes that aspect of Nerval where as soon as she sees someone, she completely perfectly analyzes them and is like, oh, you have a makeup of this and that and this and that. Oh, I can see that you actually are generating, like, she's a scientist. Like, let her have some of she can replicate
She do-
things, but
like I would be so down for Nerval as just like a funny guy, like fucking like Judgment or like any of like the spin-off villains, if he was not
Gotta say
thrust into
Judgment.
this like role of he is Unika's father, because that is like a really big role to fill that they don't use at all. Like that
It's-
is
you're bringing this up, and it's so frustrating that Sin, as the main character, has had far more angst with his own father, Kai, who loves him, than Unika has for her father that she forgets.
like okay, in Strive they're like, oh hi, like they're having conversations of like Kai and Dizzy, and it's like you have had all your screen time with them was you shooting them and then like you at their wedding for like 5 seconds. Like why do you know
Why is there
all of
not even a
this?
scene of Dizzy and Kai realizing that Unika is their daughter? Like, or like what that means to them, or what they're just
Right.
like.
Oh my
None
god,
of
you're
that.
right. They just fucking like remember. They're like, oh okay, you're our daughter, okay.
Yeah, I think again another consequence of the fact that this is trying to be a Guilty Gear story and nowhere near the amount of time required for what would regularly be a Guilty Gear story. Like 8 episodes
Again,
is
though, I'd
absolutely
argue
not
that
enough.
they did have enough time,
Yeah.
but they made some really poor decisions. If they were going to tell this story, they needed to cut out Elfelt, Ramlethal, Bike, and Johnny, cut out everyone, focus it, maybe even cut out Soul if you need to. Make it just Sin, Unika,
No.
Dizzy, Kai, Nerval, and just leave it as that, and go
Well, Bridget
fully
still
in
has to be
depth.
there.
Yeah, sorry, and
I
Bridget
have
too, of
to-
course.
I
But-
have
Unironically an
to
important
imagine
key
there
point.
was stuff
Yeah.
cut from the show, and my main evidence for this is that Testament and Dr. Paradigm in like the episode 3 call get like, you know, a good amount of screen time, and then Delilah and Faust never show up again.
Yeah.
Right,
And I'm
right,
like,
right.
They were definitely planning something with like just
Yeah.
having them on screen or
It would
something.
make sense
That's
why
my
Biken
evidence.
is there if Delilah was also a part of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like she
and-
gets
Yeah.
like a single like frame, and it's like, where the fuck are you?
He gets a single frame. He's like bloody Gur.
I really like that.
At just the right moment.
I like that they were like, oh, the 4 most powerful beings in the universe. Testament, you know, the first, human experiment by the PWAB, who's also part gear. Faust, who has unspeakable magic knowledge. Dr. Paradigm, the first knowledgeable gear that we can speak to that's fully gear. Delilah, a child.
12-year-old.
Knowledge of the absolute world, though. But yeah, no, I think on the subject of that, I think I literally, to get more into my thoughts about Nerval, unless somebody had something else they needed to say right now.
Like, okay, I just need to say this. Maybe I'm.
Yeah,
kind of
you're good,
intruding,
you're
But
good.
it's like Bedman is such a good is the villain that I think Unika would like need to like bounce off of. Where like Bedman like with Ramlethal is like, hey, I'm gonna teach you something, and then like Ramlethal's like, wow, that was like one of the most important experiences of my life. That's like a core value of like learning about like uniqueness and like replacement and shit and like that. And like Unika just being like, who the fuck is Nerval, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
I was
right.
gonna say this builds
why
into another problem with the anime too, in that I don't think Sin and Unika have a rivalry at all. Episode 2, they established like this is a new kind of rival for Sin because this is someone he cannot talk down no matter what he tries, and so every time Sin goes up to Unika, he gets beaten bloody, and also the blood in the show was gratuitous. It was kind of crazy how like deep they went with the injuries that Soul and Sin sustain. I thought that was insane and cool. But
That's
Sin
true.
continuously gets beaten down by Unika over and over and over again, but we don't see a verbal dynamic with them really form ever until the prison scene where Sin sees Unika and is like, hey, I want to talk to you about you being my sister, and she's like, go away, and he just walks away, and then the next scene after is, yeah, you're my sister, and we're gonna go take down Nerval, your dad, and like that, I don't think we got the full formalization of the conflict there. I don't think they gel well as sibling rivals, as rivals at all, as parallels. I think it kind of falls apart a bit, personally.
Quite frankly, I wish that there was just more time spent
Yeah.
with the characters that actually mattered. Because, like, listen, I love Dr. Paradigm. I love Dr. Paradigm so much. I do not think he needed to be here at all. He was
It was interesting that they added
Yeah.
him back and made him retread a plotline from Overture where he basically says, you should hit the nuke button, you should kill us all, do it. And it's like, oh god, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
like-
kind
Paradigm, you got
Okay,
something you wanna
wait,
talk
hold on.
about?
You're actually missing the super deep foreshadowing in the future, where Dr. Paradigm says that like hey, Gears, like maybe we can't coexist with humans. We should go to space. You know who else is in space?
Yeah.
Asuka. And so that means that
Leo
Dr.
Paul
Paradigm
then.
is gonna be the first guest on Asuka's podcast.
yo.
No!
This is what season 5 has been leading to.
Did
But
Asuka's
yeah, no,
podcast ever get a name?
No, it's
Wasn't it clear?
I know that
Unnamed
shit
Oscar
is
project.
it's not clear numbers.
Do you think he got any sponsors?
Well,
Clear
Clear Numbers is what he wants to do on it. I don't know if that's the name of it.
Hold on.
That was just like a concept that has like an English name because it sounds cool.
Today's number
I don't
is
know.
12, as in
There's
12,000
750 million.
12,000 hungry children in Illyria right now.
But yeah,
I think the first line in like Asuka's like reveal trailer is like there are 6.8 million child soldiers in the world right now.
That is the coolest fucking. It is. Oh, I love Asuka
no other
so
fighting
much.
game is introducing a character like that. It's true.
How else do you
But
show
yeah.
the gravitas and like the importance of what Gears message in, and like just the absolute reality of, oh yeah, there is child hunger and child slavery and child soldiers right now that we just don't get mentioned because they aren't relevant to current politics. Like, oh fuck, I love Guilty Gear so much. Ah,
It's so good.
But yeah, no, it's interesting that Dual Rulers with everything still managed to have like 3 separate oh my god, I can't even talk. 3 separate like lore dump characters for some reason, because yeah, we had Paradigm for that, we had Jacko for that, and then to an extent you also have Vernon and Leo for that.
Yeah.
So it really did feel a little bit unnecessarily crowded.
Oh my god, I completely forgot Jacko was in this anime.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel terrible about it because I thought part of it was supposed to be like the denouement of Soul and Jacko's kind of like domestic quiet life together, which we literally get like 2 minutes of them making food together and it being really cute.
Is
At
Soul
the end,
still
and
building
that's
that
it.
rocket?
Oh my god, they forgot
I
the
don't
rocket!
know. Did they forget about it?
I think
I
this
also
anime
wanted to
really.
bring out,
Yeah, you can go.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I think it's really funny that one of Jacko's first appearances is just dismantling a gun. Like, why
That was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was
No, that-
cool, but also, like, I could not imagine just seeing a servant down a scope. That would make me sad, I think.
Imagine like you're watching this on cable TV and you're like, oh, who is this character? And then the first is them like smiling while just beating the shit out of like soldiers, like realistic soldiers with like cartoon physics. And you're just like, who the? And then she goes back to being like a normal like serious person.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that would be
Too
weird.
whimsy.
That'd be so
Yeah,
weird.
right. You're like,
But that's
wait,
her
why does she have
point.
minions? Why does she have like
That-
cartoon little guys?
and that's why you
Ooh.
gotta get interested in Guilty Gear.
I've
But
heard
I-
I've heard around that people that were not familiar with Guilty Gear but watched the anime apparently dropped it after one episode because of the narrator and how much it didn't know, nothing was explained to them apparently. Even though I thought, I mean, I could follow this pretty well enough, but
It's an interesting sort of lose-lose
Surprised.
because for fans of Guilty Gear, you open up with that narration and I guess it feels like kind of appropriately anime and epic, but it's like we literally know all. Want to get to
I
like
think-
the cool news story thing.
I think this anime may
I
have been
think it's
perfectly
a-
made specifically for Guilty Gear players who do not like the lore. Specifically, like, fucking Apology Man tweeted out, like, did I really just watch this whole anime just for Faust to be on a hologram once? Yeah. Was it good? No. I think it was made for people like him, where it's like,
God.
okay, he can read those title cards and be like, oh, Faust, this is what he does. I never looked at the story, but yeah, that's what he does. All right, cool, let's go. But they didn't include that,
Oh
so...
my god, you're right.
I think it's like a mental thing of like if you know that it is a like licensed property and that there is more than like just the show itself, you're gonna be like, oh, there's probably like a million billion things that I'm missing right now.
Sorry, all I could think of was, Brendan, it's a mental thing, the dual rulers.
It's a mental game. I'm circling back a little bit again for my thoughts on Unika
Yeah.
Unika, sorry, on Nerval that I wanted to give
Yeah,
before.
please do.
Because I think the thing that bothers me about Nerval is kind of emblematic of the broader problem with dual rulers, which I think by the numbers, like you were saying, Toxic, Nerval should be a really cool character for Guilty Gear to have, where he is sort of like Biken, a direct response to the notion of just gears in society. Like, reasonably, there should be people who are horrifically traumatized and also felt like oppressed and cast to the side after the Crusades, where it's like, you know, the Reconstruction kind of forgot about people like me who built a livelihood off of
Yeah.
weapons that would destroy gears, these things that they actually watched like rampage through towns and like murder families. Like, I was helpless, I watched my family die, and that's the story for a lot of characters, and it's very compelling. And then you also have the aspect of him that comes in where he's like, okay, well, I want to remake the world into a better place, and I'm going to project onto my child in order to accomplish this and utilize their youthful power and naivete to, you know, fucking serve as like a stand-in for like government propagandizing and like selling a bright future to people while basically just serving my own selfish self-interest. And I feel like a lot of this coalesces into sort of a retrain of a character like Ariel's that was a really fucking sick and effective villain for Exerd, but because Nerval doesn't have time to breathe in this show, and he's like sharing that time to develop alongside Unika, very little about him really comes together in a satisfying way. Like, he feels, as opposed to like one coherent idea, a few different characters kind of cobbled together just to serve a
We don't
purpose.
even see how he raised Unika. We don't see him brainwashing her at all, or how he propagandized her. We all we see is one scene of them looking at the Crusades and being like, Unika, you will be the person that saves us all, and that's about
Yeah.
it.
Right. It's so. Oh, sorry.
It's that scene where like Unika's like asking like, hey, why are they fighting or some shit, and he's like talking about like, oh yeah, like humans, they want to protect everything in their reach, but then that means that everything outside of their reach is their enemy, and it's like, okay, we're
Right.
doing something here,
Right,
but it's not
right.
enough.
When I think
Yeah,
of,
it's
when I think
it's
of
that
Guilty Gear,
scene-
I think of long monologues that trail off into something that speaks purely from the heart and speaks to real life circumstances and issues that people are affected by. And I want you to right now imagine the scene with Unika and Nerval and that whole scene, and clash that right now with the opening of Guilty Gear X, where they read through the Bible and Soul is sitting on that rock and he's kind of mourning and thinking about his guilt and what the Crusades have brought and what he has brought about, and then it flashes between all the people that have been affected by the Crusades and how Dizzy is now coming out as the child of that and how she feels about that. That tiny opening to Guilty Gear X far surpasses anything that I saw in Dual Rulers in terms of thematic, relevant content, because so much of Dual Rulers is so laser focused on getting to the next point, which is very frustrating.
Right.
I do.
For
have,
sure.
Like, I guess in a video game, like even something like the story mode, you don't have like a runtime that you have to keep to. Like, you can, they could just make the cutscene however long they want. Like, that's not an issue. But I don't know. Like, I the idea of Nerval is fucking awesome, and like
Yeah.
the setup, and like he should like genuinely like if you read through like the lore and shit, it's like, oh wow,
Yes.
you know, maybe there is like some like reason, like, hey, maybe we don't want to just like coexist with all these monsters. Like Lars Canyon is like
the
all of those
corpses of all the-
skeletons and shit with all of those skeletons with like the giant swords in them in the background, like they could come back to life.
Yeah.
Like any moment, like that is like
There-
a thing that they say. that
There's
could
a
happen. It's like,
clear
shit.
world-building hole that Nerval is filling, and that he should be filling, and that felt really cool and exciting to have a character
I wish
occupy.
that I
So
wish
much
that
of
they
Strive-
just used his senator stuff. Like I want to
Yeah.
hear him give a speech or like give a bill to Congress or something. Or
I'm with
fucking,
you
like,
too,
Say
it,
that he's
like-
from Arkansas and not just like imply it.
They could have done that too with all the festival scenes they did with Vernon. Like, they were entirely purposeless. All they did was have Unika crash the scene when they could have had Nerval in there giving speeches and things like that. And it's especially frustrating too, considering that Strive is a super political game. So much of that game is about America. Like, you literally see the bald eagle on the, like, versus screen. So, like, it's about the White House, it's about Reconstruction, like Jay was saying earlier. Like, President Vernon is the, like, broken president trying to bring everyone back into a new age of what freedom means to them past all the militarization. This was the perfect place to put Nerval, and they dropped it all completely for a Cthulhu monster. Where did he even get this power? Oh,
Okay.
well, he just did it. Okay, cool.
I like the Cthulhu monster. I love body horror. I love the scene where he eats himself. That was like the best scene ever. But like there's a gap here. There is something we missed in between this. There's no bridge
Right.
between these two.
Did you
Yeah.
guys like the Flowey moment in the last episode where he's just on the
Oh,
TV?
it was fucking fantastic. Where it's fucking creepy
was so
pasta. It's like
good.
it's fucking suicide mouse or something.
Analog horror Nerval was genuinely
I'm saying,
very
It
sick.
was
They went
so
hard for the
fucking
visuals on that.
good.
Yeah, the
Nerval looked
Mandela
at the
catalog
screen,
fucking Nerval.
touched-
Yeah.
Nerval.exe.
He literally bled hyper-realistic blood, but it's like, it
You had the fucking like Lovecraftian, like all the fucking like hands of becoming like more hands and shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh.
No, it's so tragic because I think literally what the like writer for the anime wanted was Guilty Gear Exert and Guilty Gear Sign. Right, sorry, not Guilty Gear Sign and then Guilty Gear Revelator, where it's like we have the time to develop Unika as a character and the time to develop Nerval as a character, because that wasn't split up. They didn't get the opportunity to really do a great job with either of them, and now they're kind of just both here as like weird sacks of potential.
They have the fucking
Until then.
like Nerval's like scars like in the flashback. Like yeah, he has a giant like X-shaped scar across his forehead. And then when like the future Nerval like eats himself, like like once the skin's ripped off, you see it's like it's still there. It's just healed after like all this time. Like
Well,
that's
it's-
such a cool fucking thing.
Well,
And
that
it's, like,
parallels
that
Unika,
feels like
because
it should
Unika
be
has the
more.
X scar on her head with the dyed hair.
Like it feels like
Mm.
that should be more, or like they should
Yeah.
acknowledge something like that. And it's just not. It's like oh.
I think personally regarding like I don't want to say regarding the political state of Guilty Gear because
Yeah.
that sounds like really silly.
Mhm.
Not holding my AirPods just died. 1 second. Give me a second. Give me 1 sec while I switch headphones. I always have a backup set. Give me one
Yeah, no
moment.
problem.
Nerval was
Right,
like I don't want to
next.
say Nerval was like the thing I
while
was
y'all
looking forward to the
Guilty.
most.
All I
but-
wanted to say. What?
You can go.
Oh okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I just wasn't sure. Toxic was saying something.
I was, but you could go ahead.
Oh, okay. All I wanted to say was in the like general, because like, I'm I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm like a super duper hyper lore buff or anything
Mhm.
regarding like Guilty Gear, but like I did feel. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I'm so sorry. Like I had so much time to think about this, but like, I feel like with Nerval. I don't like using this as like a saying in like a genuine kind of discussion, but like I do understand the plot point, or not plot point, the discussion point about him being kind of like just potential,
Mm-hmm.
but like simultaneously I don't want to say they did what they could with what they had, because they definitely could have done a lot more, but I
You-
did like aspects of what he had.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like,
I wasn't expecting Nerval to be like, the fucking best character ever. Like I was entirely expecting him to be like, okay, he's just the villain of this. He might even fucking die halfway through. Like he might not be important at all. But then
Yeah.
they give him like, no, he is the central antagonist of the show. But at the same time, he's not fully developed to actually like hold that spot well. And like especially
Yeah.
Strive, they just kind of drop anything that he could have. Like any impact he could have had of just not being a throwaway. He could have been a throwaway, and I would have been fine with it. But no, they did like act like he was really important. Like he is Unika's father, the one that raised her, and like so much. Like that's the final battle of the show. It's against Nerval, and it just feels like it like between then and like however long it's been since Strive. Like after that, it feels like everyone just fucking got over it.
I think another
was
big
a, like,
problem for me was this anime. There was a lot of speculation going into it, of course. Like, they dropped the image of Unika and left everyone thinking, who is she? What's her relationship to everyone? What's gonna go on? Oh, who's Nerval? What's this? Like, it's frustrating me now, and Dual Rulers has made it very clear that Guilty Gear will establish a very, very cool, thematically resonant promise in the narrative, and then not follow up on it, and will pick something completely different to focus on instead. I can't, like, for example, like, Sin having the ability to DI, and what's under his eye patch, like, that has always been, like, a silent promise throughout the entire narrative of, oh, what's gonna happen when Sin takes off his eye patch? Is he gonna go full gear? What's gonna happen? This and that. They don't follow up on that in Dual Rulers at all. They kind of just end up going and said, oh, they drop, oh, he's kind of like a command gear. Oh, he drops the die command on people. Oh, he gets that fixed. Okay. Like, they don't commit to anything. There's other examples of this too, and I can't think of what exactly it is, but I guess, like, the political promise of Strive and the promise that, like, oh, this is something that cares about what the idea of America is and what America means to things, then dropping Nerval and being like, yeah, it's not really that important, he just happens to be American. That's not relevant to the story at all. That feels like a dismissal of what's important to this. Like, Baiken's story ending in Strive with her being, like, giving up fighting and instead fighting to free people, kind of, does not feel like it's reflected in Strive, Dual Rulers. There's just so much that is just missed between the transition.
I think it's partly because it's different writers. Like, Daisuke didn't write Dual Rulers, but there is, like, sort of a disconnect where it's like they're going back to, like, the, like, quote-unquote status quo of the characters, which is not, like, entirely a bad thing, I guess.
I remembered exactly what I was gonna say.
It's technically a spin-off, like Axel doesn't show off Megumi, but if they did have to bring in Megumi, I feel like that would kind of be way too much for the show to handle, so I'm fine with just kind of saving that for whatever the Daisuke actually writes next.
This was the problem. Like, everyone before the show came out was theorizing, oh, are they gonna bring back Crow Kurawaba? Is this finally the time? This is our promise. Oh, they're doing interdimensional prison again with Axel? We're gonna see Izuna again, right? Like, all these promises of things that...
They have Izuna's, like, silhouette in episode 5, and then it's like why did they put that there?
There are so many promises of, like, hey, these were things that we've been leaving hanging that we will come back to, that we did and established in this universe, but instead, every single time, Dual Rulers will say, we're gonna do something completely different instead in the universe instead, and I feel like the universe is getting too full. There's really cool things I want to see them touch upon again, and they keep moving past it every time, and it's like, no! I want to see Crow!
There's so much stuff that, like, I guess it's, like, not having enough time or, like, resources, or just not feeling like it's the right spot for it, but there's so much where it's like, man, what the fuck are we doing?
I feel like, because obviously I don't know what happened behind the scenes, because you know, but like I feel like they definitely could have had a lot more scenes where they just explained this shit more. Like, there was the scene where Nerval shook Sin's hand, and he was like, oh, that's when I applied the poison. And I get it's like kind of an animism, but like, it's just more or less like,
It's another thing, like, why was the anime so full of tropes? Like, there were a lot of tropes littered throughout this. Of, like,
I did.
Also, just
I
that thing
did
about
like that in kind of a roundabout way, in the sense that it felt like a 2000 Saturday anime.
Agreed,
I did
agreed.
like that
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I will say just that thing about like that when he shook Sin's hand, that's when like the virus got applied.
Yeah.
Nerval also shook Dizzy's hand in like the exact same fashion of the
Yeah.
camera like zooming in on it and making it really important. Like, did Dizzy have that at all?
For gore.
I think they.
Did Dizzy just wash her hands after that or something? Like, what happened?
I don't. I think it's that he used Dizzy stuff to make the gear poison or virus.
Oh man.
I guess, but it's.
Additionally,
I don't
this
know.
show pulls so much out of its ass with the gear virus that was here the whole time.
I was gonna say.
Soul Bad Guy's plot guns that he gave Kai to kill Dizzy and for him to kill Sin that he just randomly made in the same scene where he adopts Sin Kiske.
I remember
Ugh.
I was making the joke, I think it was either to UD or on Twitter, where I was like, Dual Rulers is going to come out, and it is not going to answer a single fucking question anyone has about any. Introduce 3 different new bullshit magic systems, and lo and behold,
Now we
they
have-
just couldn't help themselves.
They couldn't help themselves. They had to make Commander Gear killing guns. We had to.
They had to make Commander Gear Killing Guns. They had to make whatever the fuck Nerval turns into with like the evil Zamasu clones.
Okay, like there's a spot where they could like talk about all this stuff that got kind of like missed over, like glossed over, or like they didn't have time to, and it's in GG World. But every time they only add like 1 or 2 entries, and they're just like, Unika is a character that exists. It's like,
Yeah.
You know what's
there's no GG World for fucking Nerval. There's none about the Second Crusades and like all of this other shit. It's like these seem like kind of important events that you're just not adding.
You know
And
what
in the
this
fucking-
anime
in
should
the
have
patch-
done
no,
too?
in the fucking patch like notes, they were like, we added Unica related articles with an S, like to imply that it's several and it's 1.
Did you know the only times Via Latia are mentioned are in Dizzy's bio and in Unika's arcade mode? This anime would have been a great time to establish what the fuck Via Latia is, but nope.
What is it?
They're just a random country that's invented now because fuck Illyria, I guess, even though
Where
Illyria's
is
good.
it?
Like, it doesn't matter. You know what? It's Via Latia, bitch.
Like, genuinely, where is it? Like, is
Italy,
it
I
near,
guess,
Like,
but-
Illyria? Is it like the Vatican City where it's just really small? Like, where is it?
It's a small town in Romania.
Just a
Where
small
is
town gear.
Because the
It's
new,
actually
'cause the
under-
new
it's actually
stage,
under
the new
Illyria.
stage like has the
It's
fucking
under
Illyria
Illyria.
tower. The new stage has like Illyria's tower like off in the distance, like within like eye shot. Like it seems pretty close. It feels like that's like a
Ready
walk
for
down
the
the street.
ready for the big cut? They're on the same island that Judgment was on. That had the citizens that all got turned to gears.
God.
Raymond, this is how Raymond makes his comeback. Another character that
Oh
could have
my
been here,
God,
you know.
it's- We did. They,
I
that was
can't
not
believe it.
Raymond.
That episode of Dual Rulers,
Oh,
Nerval
okay.
shows back up, and Judgment comes out and kills him. Oh.
That would have been
Okay,
sick.
I will say one of the actual like fucking like bullshit who gives a fuck characters that I was kind of expecting to get a cameo was Leopoldin, because it would have been so easy if
If it was just one of the
was
gears
just
that
like
they
one of the
controlled, right?
monsters was
Yeah.
imagine if Leopoldin was just one of the like still shots of like, oh shit, there's a big fucking gear rampaging somewhere. They could have just had they could have drawn one frame of Leopoldin and I would have been like, oh.
It just frustrates me. Why is there such a neglect for like the series history in ways that like very small ways that could have helped? Like they care enough to do a teeny tiny cameo, but not enough to actually explain like things that should be here. Why is May not with Johnny? Like those two are inseparable. Johnny should not be away from May in that way. And May shows up to be at the wedding, and April is there too, and April is on screen longer than May. That feels kind of unforgivable to me. Like,
It's
other
the same
things
thing
like
with
that.
It's the same thing with another story where it's like May and April are there, but not Johnny. And I'm like, hey, where were you two?
You're telling me,
during
like-
these specific events?
You're telling me, like, Potemkin was really good friends with Dizzy, and he didn't get an invite to the wedding, and also that the country of Zep did not give a shit about Nerval in the sky? Like,
It feels like Zep never gets involved with anything unless it like directly involves them, and which is why
Okay,
I'm like,
no.
why didn't they just get involved here?
They're the
Okay,
nation of
no, in the
Switzerland.
fucking show, in like episode 7, there's like really tiny like screenshots of like Chip and like Answer and like Nago like fighting Nerval clones, and then it's like the Assassin's Guild characters fighting Nerval clones, and then it's Potemkin and Gabriel fighting Nerval clones. So it's, I guess the answer is genuinely that they weren't available to be on call because they were fighting the clones as they speak.
I love that scene because they
True.
randomly establish, oh yeah, by the way, May and Angie are friends now. Like,
Where
that-
are they?
they had one ending in GGXX Arcade that was non-canon, but you know what? Angie and May are they're fighting together,
they're-
sure,
They're
whatever.
just in a field. What are they doing together? Where are they?
Or a maxing.
Oh, no, this is their Saturday. This is their Saturday thing. They always hang out. Don't you know this? Everyone knows this.
Very classic, well established thing.
Like I was enjoying the show. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be like crazy. It's not gonna be like the best anime ever, but it's so weird. Like I was expecting a good amount of like bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, here's 2 characters that show up for
Yeah.
5 like milliseconds, but it's so weird that just like there's so much of it that doesn't get explained, and I wasn't expecting all of it to get explained. Like there's definitely just, oh, we just wanted fucking Anji and Mei in a field here, but there's too much of it where I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like I wasn't happy by the end of it, where it's like, oh man, this ending is kind of like mid.
It's just pandering, you know,
Aw.
yeah.
I
So
kind
I-
of like, to a specific extent, I did kind of like some aspects of the ending. I don't know.
I like the wedding,
I got-
like I don't
no, go on.
like I like the ending scene where it's like it feels, again, it just feels like too rushed, where I'm looking at the episode thing, it's like we have like 30 seconds left and like this is the final scene, and I feel like I feel like this should have been like 5 minutes longer.
I
Yeah,
still feel.
No, I do understand. I did still like. It could have just been the estrogen, but I do always get kind of emotional at the at things like where what the fuck was right, Sin. Sorry, I'm completely blanking because I'm just
You're all
fucking around
good.
Guilty Gear right now. But whereas Sin and like Unika were like leaving and like departing, and they were being like all like silly with each other. They were like, oh, you know, like the whole like sibling, not rivalry per se, but like the this discussion of just them being like siblings. I don't know.
Yes.
It's quite nice.
I thought
like
that was so cute.
Yeah,
But-
I will say that was something that I wanted a lot as soon as it was established that they were siblings. A little bit more character building for the both of them. Not to say that like Sin hasn't had that, but I feel like as opposed to a lot of other like central characters that he still needed a few more moments. And I'm not really confident that Dual Rulers gave those to him, but I think a moment like that where he was acting like a sibling with Unika, that was nice.
I think he
And
only
I think
got,
it did a lot for Unika's character.
one moment of that though, and he already had better relationships with Ram and Elfelt, which were the same thing, so it felt really purposeless to me. Additionally, Dual Rulers ends and Unika's arcade mode's ends. Sin has nothing that he's doing in the lore anymore. He's not going to do anything anymore. Like they kind of leave off like, oh, he's gonna find himself the same way Unika is, but Sin is no one now. I don't even think he's gonna be the next main character of Guilty Gear. I think they completely fucked up Sin. Like that's it.
No.
Hmm.
Agreed.
That is Sin
Huh.
Kiske. He's done.
Yeah. It's a strange thing for somebody that I thought was going to be like the protagonist of the next generation of Guilty Gear, but I meant maybe this is them setting up still.
No,
But, like,
I think they have
I think
firmly
they-
set up that it's Unika now.
No, I don't think they
hope
could.
not,
I don't
because
think they
feel
could
like that'd be
possibly do
really
that.
weird.
I don't think it can possibly be Unika. I feel like Unika will be like alongside Sin,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Mhm.
I can't imagine Unika being the main character of Guilty Gear. That would be ass. And also, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they've said before that like, yeah, Sin is the next generation
Yeah,
of
Mhm.
like the Guilty Gear. Like,
he should be. It's just
Yeah.
it's weird to me that he doesn't have conflicts anymore. Like he's kind of just.
Well, wait
Very-
until they introduce Nerval too.
Oh, they'll introduce a new girl for him to try to save.
Melvin.
Melvin, yo, Melvin Screwdriver, the new American senator who loves gear. But
Guys,
too
it's okay.
much.
Just send Sin Kiske at him. Sin will find out they're related, just like with every other girl he meets.
I'm like, no.
No, it's I think the really frustrating thing about Dual Rulers is that there were parts of it that really spoke to the people making it having a lot of passion for things
Yeah.
and really understanding what it takes to make a compelling story. But it didn't feel like they weren't given the resources to do that. I think it was just plain they did not have the time to do it. And for as much as I feel like we all could probably agree, oh, they could have cut this scene with this character, I think in order for something to really be a Guilty Gear story, sometimes there have to be those little scenes with the characters that feel kind of unrelated to it. I think that helps make the world feel like more enriched and alive and
Yeah,
like
I mean-
tangibly lived in. But when you try to compress that into an 8-episode anime, it's just like a recipe for the like disaster. So I almost
Yeah.
wonder if they brought this up to the people and they were like, either, oh, nah, I'd win, or oh, they'll give us more episodes, right? And then they just like did not, because I don't want to say Dual Rulers was like shit. I liked Dual Rulers a lot. I watched
Yeah, I
it.
thought
I
it was definitely
smiled. I saw
entertaining.
Bridget. Yeah, I saw Bridget
saw
given
Bridget.
the moment where she said like the thesis of the anime, and I was like, that's fucking genius, and it was really cool, and it immediately endeared her to me as well as Unika just for her being there by proxy. But it needed more room to breathe on everything.
Yeah,
Because like even go on.
I was gonna say you have something there because, like, two of the coolest scenes in all of Guilty Gear are scenes from Exurge Sign, actually, and Revelator, and it's, like, randomly May and Chip interacting with each other, where Chip drops the thesis statement of all of Guilty Gear, where it's like, hey, would you sacrifice one person to save the entire world, or would you that's not fair to say at all, because what if that one person had a lot of people that loved them, and their world is more important than anything else? You have to consider the individual worlds of people and live your life fully, and live selfishly, but in a positive manner. Like, that is Guilty Gear in its entirety. That, and Jacko and Jam's conversation, where Jam explains how to be human, of eating, sleeping, and fighting, like, that's just working. That's what it means to be a human being that lives, and that's what it means to have a dream. That is also, like, quintessentially Guilty Gear to me, and in both of those cases, it's a random character interacting with a random character. But I think what Guilty Gear most of all speaks to me as is, like, two characters that sit down and share philosophies and have long monologues with nothing happening on screen. Like, that is fucking Guilty Gear to me. And the anime did not have the most of that. But...
Yeah, I will say, I do like, because, like, I used to be a very avid anime watcher before I kind of fell off in college, not because of lack of interest, just because I kind of drifted off. But I feel like even in the shorter anime, they're still, like, akin to 12 episodes, but I can kind of understand, like, issues when it comes to budget. But, like, there were... I do wish it could have been minimum 12.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I was watching the show, mentally the only thing my brain could, like, tie it to was Gurren Lagann, which I know I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Like, that's just what it was to me. But, like, going through the whole show and, like, seeing the motions, it's, like, I kind of, like... It had a good chunk of, like, scenes where everything did feel significant, and then it just, as mentioned prior, it just kind of moves to the next plot point. Like, had they lingered for things a bit more, I feel like generally 12 episodes would have been fine at the pace they were going. But simultaneously, it's like, if we wanted to harp on every plot point, which would have been a lot better, I think something akin to, like, 16, 18 to, like, 20 would have been nice. But I feel like simultaneously that would have been too much. But not too much, because, like, there is a lot to talk about in Guilty Gear. And that's the thing, that, like, Guilty Gear inherently, as you mentioned, D, it's like they talk about a lot of things for a long time in a lot of scenes, and I fucking love that. So I feel like just there were some scenes that definitely did feel too fast, but yeah, no, I just like. But there were also some scenes I really liked as well. It's like, I feel like I'm kind of giving a spark notes of everything that was just said, but simultaneously it's like, I don't know. I feel 12 to 16 episodes would have been perfect, but I understand budget issues. It's just the TLDR of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Because it's like
it had everything that would have made the show good. It's just the simple fact that they only had 8 episodes.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's a good problem.
Go on.
I think it's a good problem for a show to have, for it to be that, like, people can watch and be like, oh damn, I wish there was more. Because, like, at the very least, it's not that they wrote some annoying, just stupid fuck shit. They wrote good shit that really needed like room to grow. It just tragically. So I want to put that
the
out
people
there.
that
Some
started the
love.
anime, I don't think any of them dropped it at all. Everyone that I know finished it, so.
Right.
I actually didn't watch the anime. I'm just guessing. Actually.
You didn't watch the anime?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I didn't watch the anime. I filmed it
2
myself.
hours into the dual ruler podcast. Wait, I've never watched this show.
Good guesses here.
I was gonna say, unrelated to anything. I kind of enjoyed the fact that they made Sin into a Looney Tunes character so much in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
That was,
fucking
it was a bit
knows.
random, but
He's
I was
so
like,
cute.
okay. So much of this anime was, like, Sin comically falling from things.
He really was falling all the time. He is so Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, actually, I have a fucking fantastic bit of, like, there was foreshadowing here. In the Amberfest of Kind Neighbors stage, there is a sign that says, beware of bears, but it's crossed out and says gears. And that is
Oh.
actually, it's like, wow,
Wait,
that's
hold on, I'm
actually,
gonna
that's
load
the
up the
fucking,
stage
that's
right
the
now.
bear, that's the gear
The
bear.
bear, yeah.
Holy yeah, no, look at that,
Wow.
that's just the
Which area is
bear.
that in?
That was the foreshadowing, it was all
The
planned.
first episode.
Which area is that
so
in?
This is, I believe, the, train? The train, like, screen?
Yeah, the one with the
Like
train and the
the-
snow in the front, and I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like, with, like, the kid building the snowman, I believe it's
Oh,
there,
okay,
but
okay,
I'm not
yeah.
entirely sure off the top of my head.
You know what?
Okay, what now?
Despite everything, I think I'm really gonna miss Dual Ruler Saturdays. It was so beautiful.
It was
in a
really
way.
fun to just wake up and be like, oh, cool, there's a new episode in, like, of 2 hours.
Yeah.
It made me feel so giddy every Saturday logging on and seeing everyone else also, like, try to get in and try to watch Dual Rulers and then making, like, reaction threads and then accidentally getting spoiled somehow from someone and then be like, God fucking damn it!
It's so fun. I love waking up on Saturdays. Just, oh my god, it was like feeling like a kid watching, like, oh my god, cartoons.
It
and then,
was so
like,
fun.
Saturday morning cartoon core. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
It just felt so nice to, cause like, I mentioned it like just now, but like also I used to be like a very avid anime watcher back in like high school. I would finish like 2 anime a week generally, and just I miss the experience of like being able to have the unified moment of a new episode dropping and everyone just popping off over their like scrungly bungos appearing for like 2 minutes.
I'll make a bold
Yeah.
claim, and that I'll say up to episode 4 or 5, every single episode had felt like a 10 out of 10, and was equivalent to the fan reactions of, like, Higurashi Go Sotsu and, like, Danganronpa 3, the anime, where it's like,
Oh my God.
every week a new episode will drop and everyone's freaking the fuck out and going online and being like, oh my god, what? Like, I cannot believe that, like, we went from a cliffhanger of Sin and Unika beating the shit out of each other to Axel being in torture hell forever. I think that's
I don't know.
the best
It
Guilty
was
Gear
so
moment
funny.
we've ever had.
I
Like-
fucking love the just it's not just Axel gets sent to the fucking like torture like dimension. No,
Yeah.
it's the fact that they don't go back to him for like
Yeah.
3 episodes.
They left
It's
him.
because it was just another week of
Loki,
Axel in
he
hell.
just be in situations like I
He's
don't-
not
like,
even
I
in
don't
the
know how
last
else to
episode.
say
Where
it.
did he go?
I follow.
He went back
Got
into
him.
fucking the torture dimension.
He
It's,
went back to the torture dimension?
they literally they dropped that plot, which is on one level is extremely funny. On another, it sucks that he got dropped completely because the main villain is only able to do what he does because of Axel's power. Great. So where's Axel? It doesn't matter. He got out.
You
whatever,
know.
it's
You
fine.
know.
Jay, was it you that posted like Axel nailed up to the cross with Izuna and Crow?
It's the 3 guys like dressed up like Jesus standing on crosses like out front of the fucking McDonald's. And I was like, oh, it's Izna, Axel, and fucking Crow in interdimensional prison.
They're oomph.
Yeah.
Is Azuna in interdimensional prison?
Yes.
I
Ariel's
I think
locked in there.
Ariel sent him there, yeah, but we never got a follow
Ariel
up.
sent him to fucking interdimensional prison?
Yes, because
Yeah.
there's a moment in Revelator when Soul is like, oh, we have to teleport ourselves to, sorry, we have to get all the way over to, not America, somewhere, to stop the missiles, and they're like, yeah, well, it's okay, we could just use Isuna's portals since he was able to teleport, and they're like, not so fast, Soul. We lost contact of Isuna after he got captured by aerials and put into interdimensional prison.
Wait, hold on. I thought he just was like gone and there was no explanation. This changes everything. He's just been in hell this whole time.
He's been in hell.
No, they got him.
I love so much. So many fucking things have happened. They just haven't deemed it a priority to fucking go save him in all this time. So,
I'm sure they'll come back eventually, right? Right?
Oh my god!
And then Crow's like, first time being in here, oh boy.
Oh,
funny.
fuck.
Now, we're gonna find out Raymond's in there too.
Yeah.
That's where he's
Just put
spent the
everyone.
whole time.
We need a Guilty Gear game filled with just all the fucking jobbers that they forgot about that are just
Okay.
like in interdimensional prison.
Where was
What-
Zakodan at the wedding?
Yes, I was gonna say yes.
Where was S1? He was so important.
I want to just like talk about something where it's like there's a weird like priority of what they deem is important enough to like actually put in the game, and then what they don't, because Unika has lines against fucking Zato for some fucking reason. Why?
Get away from her.
The only thing I can think of is like, oh, Zato has ties with the U.S. government, kind of with the PWAB because of their allegiance. So maybe it's like, oh, he's trying to get her into his agency, kind of. Like
the
but-
thing is okay, so like he's like, hey Unika, call me if you ever need a new job, and like that's it, like that's the line, like both of these
Yeah.
are not any like thing, and
Additionally-
Unika's just like, I have a job, get away from me.
They probably gave Zato a line because Matt Mercer and the JP actor were recently in the booth for Slayer's arcade mode, so they were like, two birds, one
Sure.
stone, let's get some lines in.
Yeah, but like also like can Slayer talk to
No,
like
Slayer's not allowed to, he's too cool, he's not, you know, like,
But they could have so many cool things. They'd be like, oh hi, I'm a
Reminds me,
vampire. And
actually.
she's like, what? I
There
love
are a
your I love
million
your
cool
fashion.
things.
this is
There are
Guilty
a
Gear,
million
bitch,
cool
you'll
things
get
that go
random
into
info on
Slayer.
things you did not think you want.
Fuck yeah.
My problem, I think it is that I just really want there to be like I know I just want fucking character specific win quotes. Can you please talk
know.
to each other?
I know.
It'd be
Please.
so nice. Exit was so
Okay.
good with it.
Oh,
so
what's
like-
that
so like I was
toxic? You
looking
want
for-
more quotes of Kai saying, I believe in justice?
No. Okay, it's so weird how they do it, because they're like, oh, we'll have 50 lines between Unica and Bridget, and so it's like, okay, I can see the idea of like the characters that they do interact with will be a lot deeper, except that's
Toxic,
not what
I
fucking
hear
happens.
what you're
And
saying. You know, it's me, Daisuke. Shh, I got my hand on your shoulder. I hear what you're saying. That's why, with the Unica update, we're adding a new win quote between Bridget and Batman. Woo!
God,
And
wow.
the line's fucking
This is what we
nothing.
needed.
Stay
The
away
line's
from
like,
my
hey,
bed! And that's what you
The
get.
best part is that
Bridget's like, yo, this bed would be like fucking awesome to have on stage. People would pay for this. It's just like, can you not do that? And that's the line. And like, this is what you like put in the update. Like,
Have you seen the Bedman and Delilah fans on Twitter reacting to that new line? And all of them are going
Yeah.
apeshit like, yeah, we got something! Woo!
It's like I really like that one image that was like, oh, I heard your MTF2 mailed the furniture. And I think about that one
I think
a
it was
lot.
I think it was the Venom update, or like the one before that, where it was like, hey, we're adding in Milia's mirror match line that apparently she didn't have
She
before.
didn't have one?
Apparently, like that was like a new update like this season, and I'm like, what
They
the fuck
forgot.
do you mean that she didn't have a mirror match line?
This game is so
It's like the
cobbled
easiest
together.
thing
It's
to
so
have.
interesting.
Did they
sometimes feels
forget?
like they just like
No, what
throw
line
a
did
dart
she
on
have?
the dartboard and just decide what character.
Also, when did
That's
they
what it
get
feels
Milia's
like.
voice actor back in the booth? This isn't like a thing that they've had.
It's insane how much Milia is neglected throughout, like, all of Strive, because why wasn't she, like, a part of anything involving Venom or Zato, or like, I don't know, man.
They cut her out of like Venom's arcade mode, but they brought her in to be like, okay, you can record the line of you saying like, huh, looks like that's me, and then go, yeah.
Oh my god, what if this means she's actually Lucy's arcade
In case you
partner?
forgot.
Oh no!
That's why they had Tara Platin.
I feel like I would have that reaction to anyone being Lucy's arcade mode
I
partner.
know,
so like,
fuck
maybe...
Lucy.
I genuinely can't tell who Lucy's arcade partner is going to be. Because the boss is going to be Soul, or the
Bocchi, was
partner
it
is
you
going to be
that said
Soul.
it makes the most sense for it to be like Asuka or something?
I think it
That
would be
wasn't me.
Asuka.
I don't think it was me.
Okay, I think I said this where it's like I can
mean,
imagine it being like Asuka and Lucy. Like Cyberpunk is like a fucking like old video game that he has on like a computer, like in his fucking space mansion somewhere,
Well,
and
I
he's
was
just
gonna
like,
say,
oh shit.
part of the
whoa."
anime is that Lucy wanted to go to the moon, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
it's-
was like a very big key point. Do you think she would feature on his podcast next? Like, I
What
just
would they talk about?
Well, does she have like
something.
broader views on? I mean, I guess she comes from Night City. She does have views on systematic inequality, but
It's
her
like, hey, where
viewpoint was
are
mostly
we?
I need to run away from it really bad. But
What is she gonna say about like gears? She doesn't know what that is.
she has no idea. I'm
Is it like,
wondering
what,
how they're
lights?
even gonna do this. Is it gonna be like, oh, I went through a portal and now I'm in Guilty Gear Universe,
think-
or
It has
I
to
saw
be.
someone bring up that it would be like something akin to like the I forget what they're called, like the brain dances or whatever. But,
Oh yeah,
like,
they have something like
yeah,
that.
and I was just like, that would be interesting for sure, I think, but in like a very peculiar way, not like I'm particularly fond of this information kind of way. Like I could see this kind of happening, but like I have no.
Okay,
I have no
here's
feelings
my
about it.
problem with that, is that it would give, like, the one specific person that says Strive is not canon, like, actual ammo, and I
oh
would
my
don't...
god,
Yeah.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's, like, a Strive is not canon, it's a gaijin, it's all fake, I'm just like, that... It being like, oh, man, that was a
Uh-huh.
weird dream I had, me, Lucy from Cyberpunk, that would be... I would... Ah!
They have it be a dream of Lucy, and then the camera cuts out, and you know what you see? Oh, it was actually the dream from Super Mario Bros. 2. This was Mario's dream the whole
Oh,
time.
shit!
Oh
It's like
shit!
Fuka was ending in Skullgirls.
Can you imagine if they did, like, say, like, hey, we're actually resetting to, like, Guilty Gear 2, like, nothing of the past decade actually
Be
happened
insane!
in the plot?
Like, oh,
Can you
Valentine's, what are you talking
imagine?
about, buddy? We have Dizzy to go capture. We have to go capture Eno, come on.
All of the Unika? Who the fuck is that?
What are you guys talking about? We just found out that Raven is actually Axel, future Axel, come on.
Oh my, I can't, okay, this is like completely unrelated, but I'm still like thinking about like the fucking interview where Daisuke was like, yeah, we actually like have decided that Raven is gonna be a historical figure, like, but we can't say who yet, and I'm like, who the fuck could it be?
Jesus Christ.
Who's the they can't,
No,
there's no way, right?
I don't think it's gonna be that he was Jesus. I think it's gonna be that he was like Judas.
Really?
something.
It cannot. Okay, it cannot be Jesus, because what the fuck do you do that if you're Kai Keese, who is Catholic, and you're, like, you're telling me that like my entire faith in religion, the guy that was about, is the guy that makes me uncomfortable when I hit him with my sword, and also like.
That's so awesome.
First of all,
like,
second of all,
that guy?
this is Kai Kiske. I think even if he learned that Jesus like was real and it's this masochist sadist guy, Raven, that he's actually known and he's disgusted by, I still feel like a part of Kai would be like, well, I still believe in Jesus and what he was to me, so this is irrelevant. Like, I have my faith, and that's all I need. And it's like, what the fuck?
There's no
I-
way that they could
No,
make him Jesus, right?
I just had a
There's
really
no
dumb
way.
thought. I
I,
was, go on.
oh my gosh.
I was
I
thinking,
think I'm done. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was thinking, if hypothetically, if hypothetically Raven, the notorious Guilty Gear masochist, was Jesus, and Kai is Catholic, and he finds out about this information. This is the subplot where Kai becomes a masochist, and it ties into that one Kai Dizzy artist.
Oh,
Oh.
shit! Shout outs
It
to
was
that
a long
person, by
con.
the way. Enormous shout outs to that person.
Here's
Also,
how Dizzy
shout
and
outs.
Kai could get an actual character development.
I think it's so
Make
funny
them
that
cool.
the amount of people that really love Dizzy, like I've seen like Yingwell be like, oh, they're making an anime and Dizzy's the main character in it. Finally, we're gonna get something for Dizzy where she's not just Kai's
Frozen.
wife and she's not just a
Yingwell
mom. We're
finds
finally
out.
gonna get. Oh, wait a minute.
On the subject of
I
like,
like how I like how like Dizzy's like big fucking like moment in the first episode is how she like talks back to one man without
Yeah.
the need of his wife, without the need of his husband.
Toxic, come
to
on.
Be, like,
Hashtag
showing up
women,
and
you know?
talking for her.
on the subject of transcendental level Guilty Gear fan art, I also just wanted to provide a tangential shout out to Tazu on Twitter for having the idea of Kai Dizzy daughter first.
Oh
True.
yeah,
Oh,
Virtue.
Virtue.
Oh yeah,
Virtue.
yeah.
Virtue.
Holy shit.
The amount of things that
They
become
stole it from.
the amount
I
of
know,
headcanons that Daisuke has crushed with this anime. He took away Virtue, took away Maybury, took away D-Ison.
Yeah, it's so fun. I cannot believe that it's still so funny to me. We will never fucking know why he can do it. They will never say why.
There is no such thing as I theory. That was all a myth. It's all a lie.
You still believe a character named Sin Kiske truly exists?
Oh, fuck.
Guilty Gear Strive the dual rulers.
Like, it's...
Oh, I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. The amount of times Soul pulled out a gun, so fucking funny.
It's so
So awesome.
good.
Oh,
so
still
awesome.
got it!
I love
okay.
I love
My-
when he shoots people.
If I can have this, I feel like one of my problems with the anime was that they didn't. This is gonna sound stupid, but like I have a point. Like I feel like they didn't have enough time of being like, oh, this is my specific gun from like this year from like World War II.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Like my favorite thing in like Guilty Gear and like also like JoJo and shit is where it's like, hey, let me just go on a big fucking tangent about this random historical fact, and it can be completely irrelevant later, but I just want to like go
You
off
get
about,
a
like,
little bit of
so
Soul's
much shit.
nerdiness when he's tinkering with I think it's his bike, and then it explodes into the cube,
Yeah.
and then it explodes back. Like, oh, you get that side of him. But I really wanted to see more of it because that's like the core of Soul, where it's like he's this
the
Freddie Mercury, like, I don't want to say otaku or stan, but fan, I guess. Like that's who. Like he's got so many quirks about him that he's still clinging on to what was like important to him 200 years ago. And you don't really get a lot of that. Like, you don't even get, like, a lot of his dynamic with Sin and Exerd, where he's, like, knocking on this kid and constantly being like, quiet down, boy. There's not a lot of that in Dual Rulers. He's just kind of, like, a nice, stable figure that's around.
The only two things that I got that like kind of scratched that itch for me were both in episode 5, where it's like Nerval in his fucking library, he's reading Paradise Lost and Dante's Inferno.
Yes!
And
Yeah.
then fucking
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, sure, just drop that on. And then it's when he becomes the fucking goo clone amoeba man, he's like, actually I could do all of this because of the Hey Flick limit. And
Yeah.
then it's just like, it's like, yeah, just please drop more science terms, but like, can you like talk more about this? Can you have like a whole fucking PowerPoint presentation?
May
to
I
inform me,
introduce
the
you
audience?
to Zero Escape, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
Oh, true. Have you heard of the? Hey, have you heard of the ship of Theseus? Oh,
Have you ever
man.
heard of Futility? Oh, it's just, you know...
Have you heard about what's the fucking crystal that like
Ice
stopped
9?
existing?
Ice
Yeah, Ice 9, where it's like, oh yeah, this just stopped working one day, like all at once across like the entire universe. The rules were just changed.
I think every series needs more people that just, like...
Hey,
mansplain whatever neat little topic they're really interested in. Like,
Saying Akane Kurashiki
Yes.
is mansplaining.
I'm just-
No,
That's
she is my
so
beautiful
good.
autistic wife, and she is info dumping.
Toxic hasn't gotten to this yet, but in Virtue's Last Reward, there's a moment where a character is like, hey, main character, do you know about Schrodinger's cat? And main character is like, yeah, I know it. And then she still goes, great. Anyways, here's the explanation. Blah 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 blah.
I love that. Like, I love it in JoJo where it's like, hey, actually, this is subliminal messages, but I know it's not. It's subliminal messages, and I can have like ignore that because I know that in fucking 1954 there was this movie called Picnic that released that made it said that there were subliminal messages in the movie to buy more Coke products, and so that's why I'm actually completely immune to this ability.
That would work on me.
So I love when JoJo just has its fucking insane moments.
It's literally my favorite instance of this ever because it'll be like a guy will get his balls crushed with a bowling ball, and then another character will be like, actually, this reminds me of the ability of this particular genus of beetle that lives in sub-Saharan Africa that's only been detected in this part of this jungle that was found because they were trying to film a movie there.
I remember when Joseph
It
was
has
like,
like
"Oh,
just an air bladder.
remember
And
when-
make sure if you were writing anything, do that, but also add years to every single like noun you say, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, they did this in 1962. Like,
Yeah.
please.
It
Remember when
immediately
Joseph
boosts up
Joseph
credibility.
got to
the years
Egypt, and then
need
he
to be
immediately
there.
talks about how they don't have proper toiletries there. So what they do is they shit in a dug a hole, wait for it to harden, and then it blows away in the wind. And then that leads into how they find the I think it's the water guy later on, or the sun or something. I forget
Yeah,
what
yeah.
stand this led into, but I was like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the like artificial sun guy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh,
I
that
forget
was
his
artificial
name.
sun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember his name.
Oh,
Does
his
anybody
name-
remember his name or just the sun?
Hold on. It's fucking like, it's something fats. I know this. I'm looking
Minnesota
it up on the
Fats.
wiki. It's something fats.
Pull it.
Hold on.
What
please,
band is
please,
fat? Is
please.
it Fat Hand? Fat?
Arabia Fats. Arabia Fats.
Arabia
Arabia Fats.
Araki was like, "What is a good name for a man
Arabia
from
Fats.
Egypt?"
He's
and
named
he's
after.
fat.
What?
God,
He was
he's
fitting.
named after fucking like a piano player or some shit
Yeah,
named
yeah,
Fats Domino.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I just think there's something so entrancing about making constant references to something, but
Mhm.
like there's a difference between doing it in the way JoJo's does it and the way like other pieces of media do it. Like it's okay, like some things will be like, oh, like for instance, what is it? Like Uni in Forceful Step has just fucking a bit of Puckle playing for God knows why. I think that's so fucking funny, but now every time I hear any instance of Puckle I first think Mika, and then I think of a really bad movie I watched that I really don't want to name as to not burden anyone with watching it. But it's just like, I love that. I love when they make references to things that absolutely do not need illusions.
Yes, it's so fucking good. It literally, I know
so
people make the
fucking
joke
good.
all the time, but genuinely, I feel like it really is Iraqi. Like, I read this on a Snapple fact and I wanted to share.
No, that has to be it because there's this fucking fight in part 6 where he's like, "Hey, did you know that when you go into zero gravity, you piss yourself
Yeah,
because your
yeah.
kidneys don't know if you how much pee you have in them?" And it's like that's not a real thing.
Guilty
Why
Girl.
did you hear this?
Guilty Gear already steals so much from JoJo. I think we did need some more Snapple facts going on throughout this entire.
No, fucking please tell me about like some fucking random shit that happened in 1954. Like I will eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
also
wait, no, we did get that like a little bit with Axel's scene where it's like in the 16th century, like Japan was at war. And
Yeah,
then it's just
that
like,
was
oh,
Nobunaga,
shit,
yeah.
I'm here. Like that was
was a
the one
big
time
fan
where
of that
like I
scene.
popped off so hard. I literally like rushed to the fucking timeline page to add that.
No, did you notice how that was a good scene?
Yeah. Notice how it was fun.
The dual rulers.
Truly, the
I am
rulers
the
were
dual
dual.
rulers.
I think
My
before
rulers are dual as
we start
fuck right
closing
now.
this out,
I
I'll
think
do
I
what
think we've said all we could possibly say. Also,
No.
Testament was in the show like 5 times, but
Testament
didn't say
was in the
anything.
show.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
I was a
say,
big fan of. Go on.
Why
what
did Testament? Why did Testament not show up to the wedding? Why did they just send a letter?
They were
Where
busy.
you?
They were
they
working
had a
their construction
9
job.
to 5, yeah.
Oh,
They couldn't get off.
true.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, before we close this out, what is your favorite scene of Dual Rulers, and what is your favorite aspect of Unika? And do you think she's a good character for Guilty Gear Strive? Go.
Who goes
I-
first? What order are we doing this in?
Whatever your heart speaks to. It doesn't seem like anyone else is speaking.
Okay. I'll go first. My favorite scene was Nerval fucking eating himself. That was like the coolest fucking reveal
Mhm.
ever. Even if I did not like most of what happened after that with the character,
Mhm.
I do like I like Unika's motorcycle sword. I think that's fucking awesome.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't think that they're that interesting right now. Maybe Daisuke can cook something up, but I'm not entirely sure. I
Mhm.
don't know. All right.
I think he's more interested in Lucy at this point.
Maybe.
Bro.
Alright, Hope, hit me.
See, I had a joke answer and a real answer.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, for the joke answer initially, I was gonna say my favorite scene was the one where Bridget was naked, but no, my favorite scene was the discussion of the shape, like discussing, the like body and whatnot. But I feel Unika as a character, she's present for sure. I think my favorite aspect of Unika is like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm sorry, I am dog shit with phrasing today, but like, I think regarding Unika as a character, I think it's very important to have a character that doesn't exactly know what they're up to. So like having her discover more of herself in real time is like, it's sweet, I think. As someone who had to go through something similar myself, it's like, sometimes you just gotta take time and work on yourself. It's very, like, it's something you just gotta do at some point in your life, and I thought that was very sweet.
Hell yeah. I think it's always nice that Guilty Gear is able to develop those little personal stories that can, like, touch on, like, feelings of security.
I am very fond of when Guilty Gear... Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
I was just gonna say, I'm a very big fan of when Guilty Gear, like, not harps on, discusses, like, cases of troubled identity. I like that a lot. It's a very fun thing to, like, hear about, because that's, like, low-key kind of what I majored in college. But, like, I don't know, I just think it's very interesting. Anyway, Bocchi.
Okay, so the scene in Dual Rollers was where all the gears are getting flooded with power, and Paradigm is filled with a heavenly light, and he starts screaming, and I think that that's really funny. But my actual favorite scene is the Nerval body horror stuff. That was my absolute favorite.
Yeah, Dr. Paradigm couldn't take 0.1 seconds of seeing the circle like Batman can.
Exactly.
That's true.
Let's see, my favorite scene in all of Dual Rulers. My easy answer is I genuinely kind of want to say the Axel torture scene because it came so out of nowhere, and I was filled with so much hope that there were parts of, like, Strive that they weren't ignoring anymore. Like, oh, interdimensional prism, this is coming back. Oh, Axel, random character we did not expect in the series. He's here now. It's cool. I want to say either that or maybe, like, Sin and Unika's first encounter in episode 2 also, I thought was really, really strong showing of both of them and, like, where the series was gonna go. Really happy with that. Unika as a character, I'm super disappointed with her because I really liked her design and I wanted her to be, like Toxic was saying before, I wanted her to be a little more bitchy. I kind of wanted to see her, like, be more aggressive towards people and be less of this, like, sweet, kind girl that Ramlethal is, and kind of more her own, like, I'm trying to figure things out, but I just keep saying mean things to people. But not in the way that Abba is, where Abba is just completely unhinged about it. I just mean, like, maybe Unika should have been the silent and stoic, mean, gruff type that Soul is when she walks into a bar and she just hangs up to a wall and just kind of goes, kind of maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Just a little more grit to her, because it feels like she's just kind of nice. And I like her jacket a lot, and she's also very fun to draw. I've been liking to draw her a lot. I think my favorite part of Unika is her dynamic with Geo, where I think Geo can really teach her to have a lot of that brashness and self-confidence that she does not already have. And if Unika can become more like Geo, I think that's nothing but a positive. And also, Giovanna has gravely needed someone to mentor or have another character to have dynamic with besides Gold Lewis, so that's a huge plus in my book. I deeply mourn the fact that Giovanna was not in the anime. It's absolutely insane to me that she wasn't. And in that respect, no matter what I say, Unika was a huge success for the anime because, for Strive, because 30,000 people bought, well, that was the peak of Strive, and I think that was when Bridget dropped. That was the most amount of people concurrently playing. With Unika's release, they hit 12,000. 1/3 of their peak player base tuned in for Unika because they liked her so much. So, no matter what, the anime was a success, Unika is a success, and people really like Unika. I thought Strive was getting close to its closure, and that maybe Strive would die soon, because, we've had 4 seasons of DLC, it'd probably be time for them to move on. But no, I don't think that's the case at all anymore. I think Strive is going to keep going for quite a while. Unika brought in a huge new resurgence. It's going to be a whole new generation, and that's kind of scary and also really exciting.
If I can add to this, they said with the Bedman update that they were like, our plan is like 7 to 8 years of support for Strive.
Insane
and,
to me.
Like this is not like new information. Like I remember when the if the leaks were happening, they were like, oh, they're planning so much more content for Strive. Like fuck, but it's like we already knew about that, so that's why I'm confused.
Where
Yeah, exactly.
this is year 5, right? Did they drop 2021 or 2020?
2021.
All right, so this is year 4.
like,
We are
4.
halfway
Like,
through this lifespan. Then that is insane
like
to think
I just
about.
feel, I think if you look at like XX, like they supported XX for fucking like 10 years or whatever,
Yeah,
just
no,
like
that-
keep releasing new versions of it. Like I think Xrd was the odd one out because that was the one that sold like ass.
It's kind of sad too to think about, but I think that was also
Actually-
around the same time that Street Fighter 4 was coming around, and then BlazBlue was a huge success for ArcSys. Like I think BlazBlue hit 1 million copies before Guilty Gear ever did.
Yeah, but it was
Central Fiction or just like...
I'm not
which
sure.
one?
I think
Fighter-
the first one.
Blue sold more than any Guilty Gear previously, like period, which is insane.
And that was
Xrd,
because it was around the time that Street Fighter 4 had revitalized the genre, I believe. So.
Correct.
like
Just about.
Xrd came out around the time of Street Fighter 5, I believe, so it might have been like a rut. Because I know that Street Fighter 5 like kind of somewhat put fighting games in a lull for
Yeah,
for a
well,
bit.
Street Fighter V's release is what led to Strive's creation being such a monumentous thing, and also COVID, and having rollback and operational everything. Fighters coming out, that also did a huge thing. But also, that was when Tekken exploded with Tekken 7 because Street Fighter V was ass. Like, Tekken 7 ended up getting, what was it, like, I think 8 million concurrent players or something? Like,
I think so.
something really, really stupidly high that they're probably never gonna hit again.
Yeah.
Fighting game development sure is interesting.
Yeah.
It is. It's so cool.
Like I'm excited for like more Strive because I feel like the game can keep going. I mean, if there's one thing that I will say, it's like I wish there was a version that you could just buy for like kind of cheap and it just has all the characters and not like it be like $100 or anything. But like I guess we're just gonna have to wait until the end of the game's life for
You're
that
gonna have
to
to
be.
wait for the end of the game's
something.
lifespan, and you're gonna have to wait for whatever BlazBlue, whatever thing comes out next for them to slash the price of it.
Oh,
God, you're right.
they're gonna. They don't have to make another BlazBlue. They don't have
They
to do that.
No,
They-
I think
they-
it's
they-
time we finally bring back Battle Fantasia, baby! Woo!
Oh, true.
Let's go!
like BlazBlue's kind of over. We don't need more of that. Like
Real.
BlazBlue's over. Strive is gonna near the end of its generation soon, and then it'll probably be a pause, and then a new Guilty Gear will probably drop. So honestly, new IP time. I'm ready.
every like BlazBlue fan that's like kind of like that hates on Strive but wants a new game. Like, do you realize that it's just gonna be Strive but blue?
Do you not realize? It doesn't matter. You know what? We got the good anime. They got nothing. We win. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Can we get an English dub for the anime? That's the one thing I want right now.
I hope so. I know
I feel like
Crunchyroll
it's
is
just a matter of timing, really. Because
Yeah.
there tends to be a delay between sub-release and dub airing.
voice actors
Go
are also
for
on
that.
union strike at the moment too, so I don't know if that's gonna
That's
affect
oh.
anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
right.
probably
Unika's voice
affect a
actors
lot.
got credited. Oh my god, I completely forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't Unika's like voice actors not there for some
Yeah,
reason?
yeah, it's
She's
just not listed.
credited.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of fucked up. I
That's
hate
weird.
seeing work that goes uncredited. Like, hey, you got your paycheck, you put work in, people want to congratulate you. It's, I don't know, it's kind of sad.
They will
It sucks,
probably
yeah,
add
I
it
feel that.
later. They will probably add it later and just be like, "Hey, I'm the new voice of Unika," like Alex Lee.
That was a funny bit of his.
Yeah.
Jay, do you have any final thoughts before we close this out?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo the sentiments of many people, including us in this call right now, by saying my favorite scene is just Bridget explaining like the nature of the self to Unika. I'm always a sucker for any Guilty Gear story for that notion of existentially defining what it means to be a human, overcoming the sort of innate tendency of dehumanization that people go through even in their daily lives due to capitalism and fucking other means of oppression, and having like the bravery to formally kind of assert yourself as your own brand of person, and living true to that. And I really that scene with Bridget and Unika. As to the kind of potential that Unika has for Guilty Gear as a whole, I guess, you already spoke to the player statistics about just a new Kiske bringing in a lot of interested fans. But I, similarly to you, really them to define something new for Unika to do, because I really feel like as it stands right now, as we already kind of discussed, she just feels like Diet Ramlethal. I really want her to be definitively her own person, but
there's one specific like voice intro line where it's Unika being like, "Hey, my mom gave me tickets to a concert and it's like spelled wrong," and then Elfelt's like, "Yay, I'm gonna teach you what a concert is," and it's like this is just Ramlethal too.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
something
like, right.
you could give this line to Ramlethal and like that would be the same reaction.
Exactly. It's like I like Ramlethal as much as the next guy, but I don't know how much we can really do with Ramlethal but again.
Apologies to all the Ramlethal fans for how shafted she got. But
It's true. It's true. I guess it makes sense now how she was so shafted, because they were like, "Oh, we wanted to make the show about Ramlethal again." Actually.
yeah, I genuinely
cool
thought she
acting
was gonna be the
stuff,
new
though.
main character of Guilty Gear in general, but such is life.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I don't-
Oh yeah.
I don't think this show is gonna like dictate how future projects are gonna go. Like really, like I'm sure if Daisuke is writing again, he's gonna just be like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing again.
Yeah. No matter what he picks, it'll probably surprise me in a new way, anyways.
Yeah.
True.
Alright, and with that has been Dual Rulers. Thank you guys for coming on and chatting with me. I thought this was kind of fun,
No
just
problem.
ranting about this.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like
no,
that.
that was great.
I like that Arxis took a shot with this anime, and this is something that has been asked for years. Like, hey, can we get more Guilty Gear in any way, and an anime? Like, it's cool finally seeing that promise come through, and I really hope we get more stuff like it, because I think this universe is rife with really cool shit.
I think
Maybe
the show was successful.
it was successful for what they wanted it to be. Extremely successful. Sorry about the leak situation, though. I mean,
Aw.
Yeah, not much we can do about that, I fear.
yeah.
Unfortunate.
Poor Rin. I saw her dying on Twitter, freaking out for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for watching, and thank you for coming on. Bye!
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.